Thanos Monday, follow my lead.
On my dick, I don't want a man. Closet full of brand names I don't want to wear. Everybody got advice that I don't want to hear. Whirl in your palm, but you don't want to share. Still, I'm following you. Are you leading me with a weapon drone? Codependent on her, but got me in bed alone. You say if you love it, let it go. Nothing set in stone, plus every rock they throw I use as a stepping stone. Got questions, say the answer's better left unknown. No, I may not never see you, I should know you never gone. So I break the mirror, cause everything is showing me it's wrong. Grab your hand and go along, cause I'm following you. Say I should be pleased, what if I'm saddened? Always say I've been through worse, what if I haven't? But if that holds true, here's the lesson. If you keep your head down, you might miss out on the blessing. Sing. I don't need the money. I don't need the fame. I don't need the lifestyle. I don't need the pain.
Thanos Monday, share the stream. Let's go. Thanos Monday, follow my lead. Perfect timing.
I don't want the bad bitch. I don't want the spray. No. I don't want the highs. Enough shit on the brain. I don't want whatever's gonna help me be sane. I just wanna follow your lead. He's saying follow my lead. Follow my lead. Brought me to my knees. He must wanna holler at me. When the world feel like swallowing me. When every decision costly and I ain't got $1 on me. Check it, I don't wanna pretend. I don't wanna live a lie. I don't wanna be judged. Don't wanna be criticized. I don't wanna talk. It's nothing I wanna say. More I let them get to know me, the more they just run away. And that must be your way of saying we should stay together. I know how to fuck it up more than I can make it better. I figured folk around me would learn to take it better. Instead of trying to change me, I've been this way forever. Time will reveal, more will be shown. You pushed it. I thought the door closed on its own, but never mind what caused it. Living a dream, nothing in this world powerful enough to pause it. Sing. I don't need the money. I don't need the fame. I don't need the lifestyle. I don't need the pain. I don't need the clothes. I don't need the cars. None of that really matters to me. I don't want the bad bitch. I don't want the strain. I don't want the highs. Enough shit on the brain. I don't want whatever's gonna help me be sane. I just wanna follow your lead. He's saying follow my lead. Follow my lead. Cig in my mouth, prescription bottle by me. And even when I think you might be making a mistake, I may not know the destination, but I make it there safe. Check it. When I feel like I can't get weaker on, you always come and make a cameo or feature. I'm good with my insanity and fevers, cause Pac's looking from heaven saying they ain't understand me neither. A lot of times you leave me exposed and laugh at me, still thinking I could be in control. Help me weather the storm. Altogether I ain't known, cause I always disagree, though you ain't never been wrong. Listen, I was feeling nearly unstoppable, and now I'm facing what appeared to be impossible. Feeling unimportant enough to have to bother you, but I'm down here alone, nigga. All I got is you. I don't need the money. I don't need the fame. I don't need the lifestyle. I don't need the pain. I don't need the clothes. I don't need the cars. None of that really matters to me. I don't want the bad bitch. I don't want the strain. I don't want the highs. Enough shit on the brain. I don't want whatever's gonna help me be sane. I just wanna follow your lead.
Follow my lead.
Follow my lead. Perfect timing. Thanos Monday. We in the building. It's the Perfect Man Show. That's how we gonna start the week off, doing some work. We getting some work done today. What y'all know about this music for? What y'all know about this music for? We're going to talk about moods.
How's everybody feeling out there?
How everybody feeling out there today?
Y'all good?
Y'all good?
I want to thank everybody for coming out.
I'm going to thank everybody for watching, tuning in to the Perfect Man Show. Put it in one in the chat. Let me know how your boy sound. Put it one in the chat if your boy sound good. Let me know. We in the building. Perfect Timing Podcast. Let's go.
Check it. When the night falls and the smoke clears, millions of miles away, yet they so near. I remember memories, so I'm never led astray. When tomorrow comes, I know it's only due to yesterday. Without a boundary, check my latitude, new attitude. See, I'm grateful for having gratitude. I'm not complacent, but got no regrets. Few hating niggas want to see me regress. Life is too short for me to be stressed. Interpret ice grilling as their way of saying he's blessed. list. You want hate? Got my own show, be my guest. Remember doctors used to tell me I was depressed. At the time I was dating a model with double D chest. I thought, does she laugh that shit off and said these S? Before I bought my first gun was already on. Teach you about coof, little bit of class, have
Move
charm.
music
Used to
forward.
get my last for a
Move
nice
music
chain,
forward.
have charm. High school dropout, but went to every prom. Now everyone I went to high school with, now they 30 years plus still on some high school shit. Seem like all the fly niggas and bitches that was well off. Now they junk head high niggas, all the bitches fell off. From surgery, rapping for niggas that never heard of me. Burglaries, tapping up niggas that want to murder me. If you close-minded, I call that an emergency. Blindfold yourself as if there's nothing more to further see. Honestly, that's absurd to me. If the sky's the limit, then where's the urgency? I embrace life. I'm so carefree, but I won't judge y'all if you don't care to be. Just know no matter who you are, the right system, it'll turn a role player to a superstar. I'm talking rock bottom, a whole nother tear stuck in the moment made me move through a whole nother year. How'd I become straightforward? No baggage, y'all can run from the past, I'ma make my way towards it like... Nigga, I remember stage fright. Back when I ain't know if I could rock the stage right. Who knew I'd end up being the nicest? My point, hard to come up short when shit is priceless.
Countdown.
Hard to come up short when shit is priceless.
Thanos Monday, share the stream. It's your boy Perfect Timing. We're in the building. We going up on Monday. We getting it done today. Make sure everybody know. Tell your mama ho. Tell your baby mama ho. Tell your baby mama mama. Perfect Timing is live. Oh, let's go. Stuck in the moment. Stuck in the moment. We about to get our brothers unstuck. We about to get our brothers unstuck. I'm about to get my son unstuck. Let's go. Get our sisters unstuck. Get my daughter unstuck. Move music number 4, 5.0. Let's go.
And the bloodshed, it'll speak for itself. And that's enough said. I carry heavy weight. Who want to try and bear it? Hope to lessen it daily if you wonder why I share it. Being stuck in that moment never appealed to me. You ain't lived my life, so you can't imagine how real it be. I'm talking about the long haul. Put me on a high pedestal. Better be prepared to watch a long fall. So the trampoline I adore. Got so much to say to the people I ignore. Dog, some moments you'd rather forget because they scare you. I lock on them shits like a pit. They just prepare you.
What?
Photographic memory.
Let's go.
The way I do, whatever I say,
Let's go.
Nigga built for it tough. Show facades with talent.
Let's go.
Different beat. You ain't got a dog challenge.
Let's go.
Emotional roller coaster, Vivian Green.
Let's go.
Had to live in a dream. Or do I live in a
Let's
dream?
go.
There's no such thing as a crisis.
Let's
My
go.
point can't come up
Move
short
music
when shit
forward.
is priceless.
I can't explain it. Just gotta embrace it. There's something got me feeling this way. Yeah. Instead of running, I'm waiting.
Thanos Monday, how everybody feeling out there? Put a 1 in chat if you in control of your emotions. Are you in control of your thoughts? Are your emotions leading your life? You got your thoughts and emotions in check. Is you stuck in the moment? You in the mood? You in your mood? You in your feelings? Are you in the mood or are you in your feelings? This is Mood Music 4 for all you body stuck in your emotional state. That you can't work through your emotions. I put this on for you. Mood Music 4 for everybody stuck in their emotions. We about to deal with it today. Thanos Monday, snap away them feelings. Stop working on feelings. When you're working on feelings, you're working in the past. How many people working on feelings? How many people stuck in the mood? You're stuck in the moment. You're stuck in the past. You can't live life if you're stuck in the past, son, daughter, sister, brother. Let's go. You only get one of these, son. You only get one of these, daughter. You can't stay stuck. You only get one of these. Let's go. You only get one of these. Shout out to Dark Green in the building. Let's go. You only get one of these. It's Thanos Monday. You know how we start this off. We ain't playing. It's the hottest podcast on the land, man. We go all the way up, man. Top of the top. We go all the way up. We're going to start this week off right. We came here for Thanos Monday. You know what happens on Thanos Monday? It's the separation. Huh? We separate the weeds from the wheat. You know what I'm saying? We bind up the weeds and we burn them. We store up the wheat and put them in the storehouse. We stack them up. Huh? We stack them up. Stack bundles. Let's go. So I was meditating, right? I was meditating, praying, walking through the garden, feeling blessed like Thanos. Juan G's in the building. That's my good brother right there. Shout out Juan G's, Dark Green, 5.0 Cool Table Brethren in the building. Let's go. Make sure you share the stream with your beautiful family. Let everybody know why you so cool, Juan G's. If y'all not subscribed, y'all know what to do. Subscribe to Juan G's with some big fire content over there, man. And always supporting your brother, man. Thank you so much. Today, man, we're going to get into this good control, man. How y'all like that title, man? How you like that thumbnail, man? It's Thanos Monday, man. We snapping all negativity out the box. We snapping all emotionals out the box. We, man. So we going to departmentalize, and we got to get our emotions in check. We got to be able to have our thoughts in control. Last week, I brought to you the fact that it's not about good or bad, or right or wrong or evil. It's about control. And today I'm going to give you the secret on how to become a superhero. We all want to be a superhero as children, right? We all want to fly. Yesterday, you got to listen to the sermon, man. If you heard the sermon yesterday, the last thing I told you yesterday is that God wanted me to tell you that eagles are not the only ones that have wings and know how to fly. Do you have your wings? Son, do you have your wings? Are you prepared to fly? We soaring today. It's Thanos Monday. Let's go. So as I was meditating, I thought about these superpowers, how to unlock these superpowers, because we've been talking about this journey to Apothos and the black man being God and what it means to be a God, what it means to be a superhero. It was something different than being a Doberman Pinscher. We're all living things, including the trees, including the fish, including the birds, including the animals. They're all living things. We are also animals, but we've been blessed. You know, we have this relationship with God, with spirituality, so that we can ascend to a higher heights, and we actually have superpowers that we are able to unlock with our mind, because our minds are like no other thing on this planet, which is why we associate ourselves with the heavenly bodies, why we created terms like heavenly body, why we've created stories like mythos that talk to us and tell us that we have the possibility to be more than ourselves. That's why these things exist. That's why we're here. So today we're going to talk about control in the mind and how controlling your thoughts unleashes and unlocks the superpower. This is one more continuation to the conversation that we had about how it is attitude can control and manifest the outcome of your life. It's very serious and very powerful how a positive attitude can manifest a positive outcome. We've explored that. We've actually exampled that, and I'm a true example. So before I get in, I have a very powerful video, a new doctor I want to share with you. It's gonna be a lot of pausing because I learned from Shut Up and React TV. Shout out to Shut Up and React TV. Shout out to Lazo MC. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Rose Gold Jesus. Yo. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. So I was watching Shut Up and React TV the other day, and Shut Up and React TV was he was doing the commentary, right? He had a video plan, and what I learned from Shut Up and React TV is that if you got a video plan, you gotta pause it a lot. You pause it a lot. Hey, big nose. Man, I got a big ass nose, man. I got big ass green bell pepper welfare burger nose. Y'all remember that joke from Eddie Murphy? Said, where you get that big ass green bell pepper burger? Well, I got a big ass green bell pepper welfare burger nose. You know what I'm saying? Where you get that big ass? I got McDonald's hamburgers. Where you get that big ass green bell pepper welfare burger from? He said his mama made a burger. It looked like a ball and had green bell peppers, put it in the middle of it with some wheat bread. He said, they kids outside playing, I got McDonald's hamburgers. He said, where you get that big ass green bell pepper welfare burger from? And this is a big ass green bell pepper welfare burger nose. So the glasses be, it ain't the glasses' fault. It's the big ass green bell pepper welfare burger nose. That's the, shout out to Eddie. I got McDonald's hamburgers. So we talk about superpower, and I want to share an anecdote before we get into the video. Very powerful video. And I was meditating today on the topic of Thanos Monday. And I was thinking about topics for Thanos Monday. And this topic of control came across the screen. And controlling your thoughts. And it had a lot to do with the journey to Apothos and how I've gotten here and things that have helped me in my success. So let me share an anecdote. I've talked about my weight loss before, about I was over 420 pounds. And diets don't work. Diets didn't work for me. Diets didn't work for me. Diets don't work. So what worked for me? We're gonna watch a video, and I feel really blessed by God because I've shared with you my keys. This has been my platform. This has been my journey that I've shared with you. God has given me a calling, and that's what I've been sharing with you. So when I share with you the steps to being a perfect man, the steps on this journey to Apothos, I'll say a sound mind, a sound body, rooted in a sound heart, which is a sound spirit. Since we said that, you hear a lot of other content creators echoing the same thing. I've even heard content creators saying sound mind and explaining their relationship to a sound mind. I related it back to the Bible. I told you that Paul said to Tim that you should have a sound mind, right? So that's where I got my sound mind definition from, right? But so let me tell you about my weight loss journey. And we're going to relate it to the power of the mind and how diets don't work and how I had to change my mind and rechange who I was and how I thought. So I talked last week about when you're healthy, you know how much you weigh. And I was unhealthy mentally when I was over 420 pounds. And I actually did not know. I cannot honestly tell you how much I weighed at my heaviest. I can tell you how much I weighed when I began my weight loss journey. That was 420 pounds. But if I'm being honest, I weighed more than that at my heaviest. And when I was that heavy, I was not mentally right. I was not mentally healthy. So I was not aware of my weight. If I was aware of my weight, I would have did something to change it. What about it, right? So when I finally made up my mind to lose the weight, this is what occurred. I say to a lot of people, when people hear the story, they're like, well, how did you do that? How and why did you do that? And I would love to tell y'all that I was so powerful and magical that I woke up one day and I said to you, I'm going to lose the weight. That's not what happened. As I stated to you, I was unhealthy. I did not know how much I weighed at my heaviest. So I was unhealthy. So what happened is I had a tragedy. I had trauma. I fell. I broke my shoulder. I was so heavy that I broke my shoulder. I injured my hip and my back. I was forced into my weight loss. I had to have surgery. I couldn't wipe my ass. This shoulder came out of the socket. So it was not me waking up one day and saying, perfect timing. You're not perfect. You're overweight. You need to lose weight. I didn't do that. I didn't have the mental wherewithal. I wasn't mentally healthy enough to make that decision. I would love to tell you that I was, but I wasn't. What triggered my weight loss is traumatic and a traumatic event where I was so heavy that I fell and I injured myself so much that I was forced into losing weight. But once I started my journey and I was given a task by my doctor, my orthopedic doctors about how I wouldn't be able to do this. I'm not supposed to be able to do this. So I wanted to defeat everything they said. I wasn't supposed to be able to use my arm again. I wasn't supposed to be able to swim again, but I love swimming. I want to be able to use my arm. So I had to work at it. Good day, Misha. How you doing? This is me. Everybody go follow Misha Mack on Instagram. I just follow Misha on Instagram, and she got a fly IG. Make sure y'all go follow Misha Mack on Instagram and YouTube. Thank you for your support. So I I didn't make up my mind to lose the weight. I was forced into losing the weight. I was forced into dealing with how I became mentally unfit, along with my physical. Me being physically unfit, it was rooted in my mental confusion, my mental depression, and my mental stress, and not being able to make a sound, conscious decision about what I put into my mouth and about how I exercise my body. So when I was forced to lose the weight, I started to trick my mind, what I would call tricking my mind, and I'm going to show a video about what I actually did. But I started to change the way I thought about food. Like Rogish, shout out Rogish to Bill Monger and Toya Tudor. Rogish helped me with my relationship with women. He said, perfect, we can't look at women as sexual objects. Like, we got to look at them as more than just pussy. Like, you have to see them, you have to humanize women so that you can see their angelic qualities, so that they can actually be a helpmate and a benefit to you. Because if you only see them as a sexual object, then that's all they're going to be for you, perfect. They're only going to be able to provide that sexual gratification. But you have to open your mind, open your eyes to be able to see the human quality so that they can be gods again. You know what I'm saying? So they could be gods again. So I had to do that with myself. So I had to start seeing value in myself. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things I did to trick myself is that one of the things I noticed as I went along this journey is with this mental cloud and clutter in my mind. It was a clutter in my home, in my room. So I started a practice of being more cleanly in all ways and being more orderly. Because with the overweight, with being obese, it came with this clutter. I wasn't lazy because I worked like 12 hours a week, but I was stagnant. Like, that's why I played that song. I was in a mood. I was in a funk. I was stuck. You know what I'm saying? So I was in a daily routine where I ate the same thing. I did the same thing, regardless if it was healthy or not. And I did not want to change out of that routine. So I forced myself to change out of the routine. One of those things I forced myself to do is eat breakfast. I never ate breakfast. I started to exercise. I got up at the same time. I didn't get up at the same time. I forced myself to start picking things up. I used to walk over things, not only in my home, but in public. So I would be the person, I would walk over a cup, I would walk over a fork, and it would always be shit on the floor. So I stopped walking over shit. And I noticed other people in my life and in the ghetto where we were, how we would sit shit down, how we would drink in our room. I stopped eating and drinking in my room. I stopped putting cups on the side of my bed. I started changing how I was mentally. Like, not eating in my bedroom helped me lose weight. Not drinking in my bedroom helped me lose weight. Not leaving cups on the side of my bed helped me lose weight. Not walking over shit publicly and in my home helped me lose weight. Misha Mack is probably the type of person who's in Misha, beautiful, gorgeous woman, beautifully fit. Have you ever seen that beautiful woman get out of her Mercedes in the parking lot and pick up a piece of trash? That's not her trash. It's not her trash. And you say to yourself, why are you picking that up? You didn't put that down? I started doing that because if it was a piece of trash in front of me, I would not walk over it. I stopped not bending over. I stopped not exercising. So if I seen a piece of trash, if I seen a penny on the ground, I didn't walk over change. It started making me different. When somebody would ask me for change, I would say no. Because most times as I'm walking into the liquor store, I would find damn near $1 on the ground. I get out of my car, and because of this practice I made myself do, I'm picking up 25, 35 cents. And you asking me for $1, I just picked up 75 cents off the ground. But you too good to pick up something off the ground. You have the old habit that I had of walking over things in life. People do that with their emotions. People do that with their problems. People do that with a blessing. God might put, I told you perfect was right in front of me, but I kept walking over it. I had to start exercising in my life. So these things help manifest a change. These things help manifest a change in who I was and how I was in all facets of life. In all facets of life, I stopped walking over things. What means what? I started confronting myself first. I started confronting issues in my life. I stopped walking over the problems and things that plagued me in my growth. Are you walking over things? Are you walking over the things in your life? Is your problems, is your blessing right in front of you like that penny? Is your blessing right in front of you like that penny when you get out the car and you say to yourself, that penny is not valuable. You don't give that penny value. So guess what you do? You get out your car and you walk right over that blessing. You walk right over that blessing. Are you walking over your blessing? Or are you stopping in your day to smell the roses? Are you picking up everything in your life? It's starting physically in your bedroom. Are you picking up your clothes? Are you picking up that cup on the side of your bed? Are you picking up that trash on the side of your bed? Are you cleaning up your house daily? Are you cleaning up the house of your mind daily? Are you cleaning up the house of your soul daily? Are you cleaning up the house of your spirit daily? Cleanse your mind, body, and spirit. It's not a game. It will manifest itself. It manifested itself for me. Look how good I look. I look good. My hair longer than your bitch. My dick longer than that. I look good. It's Thanos Monday. Look at me, boy. It's Thanos Monday. It will manifest itself. I feel good. My name perfect. I introduce myself as perfect. Make a motherfucker stop. My name perfect, bitch. Your name perfect. You ain't on my television show, bitch. Look how fly you look. Go ahead and push play. You're going to be amazed. And I believe it. I believe it. I say it and I know it. And it is. It ain't just because I say it. I'm doing it right now. I'm perfect in the flesh right now. Motherfucker, I'm perfect right now. Motherfucker, the fuck wrong with you? This ain't no joke where you come in and watch and leave. Fuck you. This ain't no thing where you can click on me and click off of me. I am captivating, nigga. I am captivating, bitch. Ain't no podcast like this. Ain't nobody giving no message like this. Ain't nobody giving no sermons, no preaching, no good game and antidotes like this. Fuck you. Fuck you, YouTube. Fuck you, anybody else that think they can fuck with me on this shit. Can't nobody fuck with me on this shit. I am perfection personified. Ugh. Hold on, Thanos Monday on you bitch ass niggas. Hold on. You heard that snap? You heard that snap? Share the stream. Share the stream. Thanos Monday. Give a fuck. This ain't nothing you could just click on and watch me and watch away. Whoever clicked on and watch away, you's a bitch in real life because you know you can't do this. I'm captivated. I'm provocative. I get the people going. Woo! God, dog it, snap a dapper. Don't play with perfect timing. Every panel I've ever been on, it's lit up like a motherfucking 4th of July. Every time I come on, it's litty like a brand new titty, sipping milk, boy. We in this thing, man. Get this video going. Hold on. We in this thing, man. Hold on.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. This is the fuck I'm talking about right here, though. You ready, Parks? Check it. If all else fails, I get back to what I know. Ratchet for my foes. Watching for informers, take a stab at it with snow. Long John jacket for the cold. Some habits are hard to outgrow. I work so hard, you think the studio's my lodging. If all else fails, I don't have a doubt that I'd be back in that studio apartment, getting it in. Closet-sized living room, and the kitchen's my den. Playing lotto, hoping numbers will save the day. Back to price checking, back to layaway. Since I ain't never hit nothing like a bad fadeaway. Back to the corner, taking a bag of haze to face.
Yo, I really feel blessed. I really do. You know how Kendrick Lamar said, I love myself? I might play that on the way out. Somebody who love me, remind me to play that on the way out because I love myself. If I love myself, I love God. And you know what else? I'm so happy that, let me bless the microphone. And that God really leads my life and inspires me. Y'all think the fire that come from me, the fire that come from me is the fire of God. Every pastor that I knew that could preach a conviction sermon carried a pistol. You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing with this. I'm not playing with trying to save my son, my brothers, and my sisters out here. I'm not playing with this. I know it come along with this. I grew up around pastors. I grew up around godly men. I know what the Bible say. Moses took somebody out. Don't play with perfect timing. I know people don't like my fire. My fire is given to me by God. So I do not care how you feel. Any pastor I knew that preached a conviction sermon carried a pistol. I don't care how y'all feel about me. I am on fire with the God, with this Lord's Spirit. I'm about to bless this microphone. I'm about to get into this teaching, and I'm so glad that the fire run off the suckers. I told you last week, it's sucker repellent. You not from the Bay. You not from the Bay. You practice this shit. I was born and lived in this shit. I came to YouTube floating on the glass sandwich bag. It's called sucker repellent. How I get down, my vernacular, my vocabulary, how fly I look, my hair, my bitch, my kids. It's called sucker repellent. That's why it's taking so long, because the suckers can't stand this fly shit. Sucker repellent every day, all day. I might do sucker free Saturdays for you suckers. Sucker repellent is what perfect timing displays every day. So if you a sucker, don't bring your sucker ass over here. And I mean that. You bless the microphone so we could get into this good teaching. Woo! G.O.D., thank you so much for your blessings. We come to you, heads bowed, eyes closed, humble hearts, minds, and reverence to give thanks, a tremendous thanks. You gave me a vision. You gave me a vision. You gave me a blessing. Every day, I'm ultra focused, and I want to say thank you. You are the greatest God. Today, once again, you're giving us an opportunity to come before you and edify your name. We pray that you divinely inspire the message. We pray that the message is a blessing and effective unto those who hear the message. We pray for safe passage to and fro for those who may be driving as they listen. We thank you for all your blessings, your insight, and your guidance. This is going to be a commentary. We pray that you bless the video. Keep it so that people can grow and watch. Amen, amen, amen. So Shut Up and React TV said, when you do these videos, you got to pause it a lot so that you don't get a strike. So I'm going to be pausing it a lot and doing commentary like Shut Up and React said. So this is guy, Dr. Joe Dispenza. And so today, while I was meditating on the topic for Thanos Monday, it came across that I want people to be, y'all see my first title was Control Your Thoughts and Become Thanos. Control your thoughts and become a superhero. We're going to teach men how to be a superhero. This is the journey to a pathos. I say the black man is God. You know, I was talking to a black woman the other day, and this black woman had the audacity and the unmitigated gall to say that she would only deal with men who thought that the black woman was God. I said to her, no, I believe that the black man is God. And I recall a time when we were both the same age, when the black man is God was in the lexicon. When we wore cross-colored jeans, we wore beads around our neck, we had leather African medallions around our neck. We would greet each other saying, Alaikum assalam, Assalam alaikum, po-righteous teachers and things like that. Brand Nubian. The black man is God was in the lexicon. I'm not making that up. I'm not making that up. The black woman is God is this perversion that leads to this LCC community and my son not knowing how to read, not knowing how to adapt himself. But when the black man was God, it ended up with people going out of their way to pay their child support. People going to get 2-3 jobs. People like Rose Gold, people like Lazo, people like Sunclaw, people like Warren G's, people like that. People like Pastor $40 that would not let his brother go cold. People like Pastor $40 that volunteered time and money that wouldn't let kids and mothers go cold. See, that's what got produced out of the black man is God. It was a thought, it was a belief that manifested like perfection, like the perfect man. It's a thought, it's a belief that manifests. See, it's not just me saying it's the perfect man show. It's me showing up 5 days a week, being perfect. It's me showing up 5 days a week, being perfect. And I manifest perfection. Woo!
The sense of self and the way that you marry science to the way that we form memories, the way that we live in a perpetual state of reliving our past and things like that. It's really, really incredible. And I want to dive into the whole.
So I don't know if this is God giving us this message or if it's, I don't know what's going on, y'all, but y'all know what I've been teaching, right? And I keep finding messages that are so eerily similar to the message that God gave us, that we've been practicing every day on this journey. Let's get into it.
Notion of you sort of being a habitual construct. Like what is that? What is the habit of you?
Well, a habit is a redundant set of automatic, unconscious thoughts, behaviors, and emotions that's acquired through repetition. A habit is when you've done something so many times that your body now knows how to do it better than your mind. So if you think about it, people wake up in the morning, they begin to think about their problems.
Right.
Those problems are circuits of memories in the brain. Each one of those memories are connected to people and things at certain times and places. And if the brain is a record of the past, the moment they start their day, they're already thinking in the past. Each one of those memories has an emotion. Emotions are the end product of past experiences. So the moment they recall those memories of their problems, they all of a sudden feel unhappy, they feel sad, they feel pain. Now, how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So the person's entire state of being when they start their day is in the past. So what does that mean? The familiar past will sooner or later be predictable future.
So we need she. What's she at? Because as I listened to this earlier, I thought about she. And she, this is why she talks about feelings. I'm going to rewind this so you guys can hear what he said about emotions and how emotions dictate your everyday and how most of us are living emotionally based lives because you're basing your day off of your past memories, and your memories are created by intense emotions. It's very important, you guys. Shout out to she. We here. Make sure y'all subscribe.
So if you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, and you can't think greater than how you feel, or feelings have become the means of thinking, by very definition of emotions, you're thinking in the past. And for the most part, you're going to keep creating the same life. So then people grab their cell phone, they check their WhatsApp, they check their text, they check their emails, they check Facebook, they take a picture.
By very definition of emotions, you're thinking in the past because the emotion is based on the past event. Shout out she, we here. He's not trying to hurt you. If she is the wolf, he's not trying to hurt you when you're trying to tell men not to be emotional. He's trying to tell you to be in the moment, not stuck in the moment while I play Joe Budden, move music forward. This today was going to be a class. This today is going to be a lesson. This today is why I'm blessed. This today is why you are here. Please pay attention and tell somebody why you so cool.
Their feet, they post it on Facebook, they tweet something, they do Instagram, they check the news, and now they feel really connected to everything that's known in their life. And then they go through a series of routine behaviors. They get out of bed on the same side, they go to the toilet, they get a cup of coffee, they take a shower, they get dressed, they drive to work the same way, they do the same things, they see the same people, they push the same emotional buttons, and that becomes the routine, and it becomes like a program. So now they've lost their free will to a program, and there's no unseen hand doing it to them.
No.
So when it comes time to change, the redundancy of that cycle becomes a subconscious program. So now 95% of who we are by the time we're 35 years old is a memorized set of behaviors, emotional reactions, unconscious habits, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions that function like a computer program. So then
Y'all hear this? He's describing the red and blue pill matrix that we all deal with in the manosphere. When we talk about someone blue pill, we're talking about someone up until the age of 35 who's operating based on past memories or traumatic events that have happened, and they affect their future decisions in life based on this path. We're trying to give them the red pill to free their mind from their emotions. Let's keep going, baby.
Can say with their 5% of their conscious mind, I want to be healthy, I want to be happy, I want to be free. But the body's on a whole different program. So then how do you begin to make those changes? Well, you have to get beyond the analytical mind, because what separates the conscious mind from the subconscious mind is the analytical mind.
Messi! Oh, perfect timing. Why you keep doing it to it? What did he say? What separates is they what? Analytical. Let's go.
Meditation comes in because you can teach people through practice how to change their brainwaves, slow them down, And when they do that properly, they do enter the operating system where they can begin to make some really important changes. So most people then wait for crisis or trauma or disease or diagnosis. They wait for loss, some tragedy to make up their mind to change. And my message is, why wait? And you can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering, or you can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration. And I think right now, the cool thing is that people are waking up.
So for me, what I shared in my opening is that I didn't wait to change. I didn't lose weight until I had a traumatic event. God, I believe, blessed me with this platform to share with you. Don't wait. Don't wait for a traumatic event. What he's saying is that people is waking up with the retrograde, with the alignment, with whatever you want to attribute it to, with climate change, whatever it may be. Don't wait for that traumatic event, because you only get one of these.
Really interesting. And where I found the deepest hooks into how powerful this can be for somebody is when you talk about trauma, and you've talked about how people experience a traumatic event, but they then basically rehearse it, and how that then has this knock-on effect. So what is that? Why do people find it so hard to get?
Now he about to explain this. Now tell me, y'all, I want to know in the chat. Cam Rob just showed up. Everybody shout out Cam Rob, all my brothers, past the $40. So what he about to go into now, I heard him explain the N-word. I'm not going to use the N-word no more. Y'all check me on that, because Irritated Genie really went in. Brother Bakari had a great live stream with Irritated Genie really going in on the N-word. But when he's about to describe a mental state that reminds me of good times in the N-words that I grew up around with. Y'all let me know in the chat what y'all think. We going in today, man. It's a class, man. Do your homework, man. Like, share, and subscribe, and then hit the poll, man. Don't be tardy to the party, y'all.
Past trauma?
Well, the stronger the emotional reaction you have to some experience in your life, the higher the emotional quotient, the more you pay attention to the cause. And the moment the brain puts all of its attention on the cause, it takes a snapshot, and that's called a memory. So long-term memories are created from very highly emotional experiences. So what happens then?
Long-term memories are created from highly emotional experiences. Please, this is helping. Come on, y'all.
Is that people think neurologically within the circuitry of that experience, and they feel chemically within the boundaries of those emotions. And so when you have an emotional reaction to someone or something, most people think that they can't control their emotional reaction. Well, it turns out if you allow that emotional reaction, it's called a refractory period, to last for hours or days, that's called a mood. I say to someone, hey, what's up? You say, I'm in a mood. Well, why are you in a mood? Well, I had this thing happen to me 5 days ago, and I'm having one long emotional reaction. If you keep that same emotional reaction going on for weeks or months, that's called temperament. Why is he so bitter? I don't know. Let's ask him. Why is he so...
Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Did he just talk about black women? What is he breaking down to us right now? He said an elongated emotional state is a mood. And if you keep that mood going, that's a temperament. What are we dealing with our sisters? What are we dealing with the millennials? The millennials are beyond the mood because it's extended for a longer period of time. It's become a temperament. When you see the Perfume song, just last night, the Perfume song was talking to another woman. And what he had it difficult explaining to her was about her temperament, about this emotional stress that she had experienced from a black man that became an elongated emotion that affected her mood. And that mood became stagnant. Now she has a particular temperament that's prohibiting her from coupling with black men. Let's keep going.
So bitter. Why are you bitter? Well, I had this thing happen to me 9 months ago. And if you keep that same emotional reaction going on for years on end, that's called a personality trait.
Wow.
And so learning how to shorten your refractory period of emotional reactions is really where the work starts. So then people, when they have an event, what they do is they keep recalling the event because the emotions of stress hormones, the survival emotions, are saying, pay attention to what happened because you want to be prepared if it happens again. Turns out most people spend 70% of their life living in survival and living in stress. So they're always anticipating the worst case scenario based on a past experience. And they're literally, out of the infinite potentials in the quantum field, they're selecting the worst possible outcome, and they're beginning to emotionally embrace it with fear. And they're conditioning their body into a state of fear. Do that enough times.
Is that the N word? Is that not the N word? Is that not the N word mentality? And all of the possible things that could happen to you, the N word focuses on the negative thing, and then it actually manifests. Is that not the program?
Times, body has a panic attack without you. You can't even predict it because it's programmed subconsciously. So then you say to the person, why are you this way? And they'll say, I am this way because of this event that happened to me 15 or 20 years ago. And what that means from a biological standpoint is that they haven't been able to change since that event. So then the emotions from the experience tend to give the body and the brain a rush of energy. So people become addicted to the rush of those emotions, and they use the problems and conditions in their life to reaffirm their limitation, so at least they can feel something. So now when it comes time to change, you say to the person, why are you this way? Well, every time they recall the event, they're producing the same chemistry in their brain and body as if the event is occurring, firing and wiring the same circuits and sending the same emotional signature to the body. Well, what's the relevance behind that? Well,
I can't get no job. I can't get out this neighborhood. Ain't nobody never did nothing around here. Hey, why you acting white? Why you talking white? Why you trying to get good grades? Who you think you is? You think you're going to be better than me? Pastor $40 is a nurse, a black male nurse. And he said he from the hood. How I know what he dealt with, because I had to deal with the same things on my climb up, because you ran into these mental mind states that looked at you and said, well, why are you doing these things? Because they mind always repeated the same downfall. That's why I can't watch Good Times, because it gets to this program and they keep repeating the program, and then you step out of the program. That's why me and Pastor $40 had to do our own panel, had to do our own show, because we don't fit in the program. We don't fit with that mind meld. We not part of that matrix. Let's go.
Your body is the unconscious mind. It doesn't know the difference between the experience that's creating the emotion and the emotion that you're creating by thought alone. So the body's believing it's living in the same past experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And so then when those emotions influence certain thoughts, and they do, and then those thoughts create the same emotions, and those same emotions influence the same thoughts, now the entire person's state of being is in the past. So then the hardest part about change is not making the same choices you did the day before, period. And the moment you decide to make a different choice, get ready, because it's going to feel uncomfortable.
The key to change is not making the same decision that you made yesterday, and get ready, because it's going to feel uncomfortable, son.
It's going to feel unfamiliar. There's going to be some uncertainty.
Why does it feel so uncomfortable? Is it because of the neurons that fire together, wire together? So there's like an easiness to that loop, just because literally, and you've talked very eloquently about this, the way.
This is the who moved my cheese. This is the complacency test. We become uncomfortable with feeling uncomfortable. And what the superpower is, becoming comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. A lot of billionaires, you hear them say, as soon as I feel comfortable, I change. This is what the mice did. The mice, every day, they did not become complacent. They looked for comfortability as a way to a road to lack, to a road to loss. They avoided comfortability like a plague.
That the neurons connect in the brain, how rapidly, I've seen you show footage of how rapidly those connections happen, which is pretty incredible. Is that what makes it so discomforting for people?
I think that the bigger thing is that we keep firing and wiring those circuits. They become more hardwired. So you have a thought, and then the program runs. But it's the emotion that follows the thought. If you have a fearful thought, you're going to feel anxiety. The moment you feel anxiety, your brain's checking in with your body and saying, yeah, you're pretty anxious. So then you start thinking more corresponding thoughts equal to how you feel. Well, the redundancy of that cycle conditions the body to become the mind. So now when it comes time to change, a person steps into that river of change and they make a different choice, and all of a sudden they don't feel the same way. So the body says, well, you've been doing this for 35 years. You're going to just stop suffering and stop feeling guilty and stop feeling shameful, and you're not going to complain or blame or make excuses or feel sorry for yourself. Well, the body's in the unknown. So the body says, I want to return back to familiar territory. So the body starts influencing the mind, and it says, start tomorrow. You're too much like your mother. You'll never change. This isn't going to work for you. This doesn't feel right.
How many times, y'all? Oh, man, this is so powerful. I talked about when people go to the gym and they quit, or people start a diet and they quit, or people start a class in college and they quit. It's the body. It's the past. It's those emotions. It's those chemicals. Your body becomes, it's muscle memory, and now you're trying to do something different, and it wants to go back. It wants to go back. So it tells you, you're too much like your mother. Start tomorrow. Y'all ever had that voice? That inner voice? And anybody who ever accomplished their goal with weight loss or exercise know that the key is to kill that voice.
And so if you respond to that thought.
Hey everybody, it's Tony Robbins. Listen, I've spent the last...
We love you, Tony.
Same thought will lead to the same choice, which will lead to the same behavior, which will create the same experience, which will produce the same emotion.
I want to talk about that notion of, give me a little more detail on what you mean by the body becomes the mind, or the unconscious mind. What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, those are two different things. Your body is your unconscious mind. In a sense, if you're sitting down and you start thinking about some future worst case scenario that you're conjuring up in your mind, and you begin to feel the emotion of that event, your body doesn't know the difference between the event that's taking place in your world, outer world, and what you're creating by emotion or thought alone. So most people then...
This is a superhero power. This is when we describe shell shock. Remember when we had Alonzo, my brother Alonzo, and he talked about his issue when he shot 5 times. Everybody send a prayer to our brother Zoe and thank him for the good work that he's done in this sphere. But we had an illuminating discussion on shell shock, on how it is your body doesn't know the difference in that mental memory, and how your body can trick your body and your mind can trick your body into not being able to feel the gunshot.
They're constantly reaffirming their emotional states. So when it comes time to give up that emotion, they can say, I really want to do it. But really the body is stronger than the mind because it's been conditioned that way. So the servant now has become the master. And the person all of a sudden, once they step into that unknown, they'd rather feel guilt and suffering because at least they can predict it. Being in the unknown is a scary place for most people because the unknown is uncertain. And when people say to me, well, I can't predict my future. I'm in the unknown. And I always say the best way to predict your future is to create it. Not from the known, but from the unknown. What thoughts do you want to fire and wire in your brain? What behaviors do you want to demonstrate in one day? The act of rehearsing them mentally, closing your eyes and rehearsing the action.
Rehearsing the reaction of what you want, or the action of what
the action of what you want. By closing your eyes and mentally rehearsing some action. If you're truly present, the brain does not know the difference between what you're imaging and what you're experiencing in 3D world.
Let's go. We trying to get super. We trying to develop superpowers out here. Who ready to become Thanos in the building? Is you taking your notes? Is you in class? Is you listening, or you think this is a game? Every day I'm talking to you about meditation, how you develop a strong mind, a sound mind. I said, what is even a sound mind? We have to go into a sound mind, a sound body, a sound heart every day. And then I went into, how did black man poo-poo MGTOW? How did we poo-poo MGTOW? How did we poo-poo MGTOW? Going off by yourself, being alone, taking time to meditate. He gonna go into how powerful it is. It's a superpower. I said it was a kung fu. That's why I got off that foolish ass panel with false prophets.
So then you begin to install the neurological hardware in your brain to look like the event has already occurred. Now, your brain is no longer a record of the past. Now it's a map to the future. And if you keep doing it, priming it that way, the hardware becomes a software program. And who knows, you just may start acting like a happy person. And then I think the hardest part is to teach our body emotionally what the future will feel like ahead of the actual experience. So what does that mean? You can't wait for your success to feel empowered. You can't wait for your wealth to feel abundant. You can't wait for your new relationship to feel love, or your healing to feel whole. I mean, that's the old model of reality, of cause and effect, waiting.
Perfect timing. You can't wait for perfection. From the beginning, even in the description, I've said, perfect timing is about no longer waiting. I'm no longer waiting to have the conversation. I'm not waiting for perfection. I'm not waiting for anyone to tell me I'm good enough. I have a daily affirmation. On Monday, we do our affirmation. Shout out to my brother, Bruce Almighty. I am almighty. I am perfect. I am great. I am worthy. I am loved. I am intelligent. I am special. I am gifted. I am blessed. See, I'm not waiting for you to tell me. I tell myself every morning, and I manifest it. I live it. I'm not waiting. As a man, why would you wait for anything you want in life when God gave you breath in your lungs and power and strength in your hands, son? Why would you wait? You a man. You can make and take anything you want on this planet Earth. I'm not waiting. It's the perfect time, son.
For something outside of us to change how we feel inside of us. And when we feel better inside of us, we pay attention to whoever or whatever caused it. But what that means then is that from the Newtonian world is that most people spend their whole life living in lack, waiting for something to change out there.
What do you mean the Newtonian world?
The Newtonian world is all about the predictable. It's all about predicting a future. But the quantum model of reality is about causing an effect. The moment you start feeling abundant and worthy, you are generating wealth. The moment you're empowered and feel it, you're beginning to step towards your success. The moment you start feeling whole, your healing begins. And when you love yourself and you love all of life, you'll create an equal. And now you're causing an effect. And I think that's the difference between living as a victim in your world, saying, I am this way because of this person or that thing or this experience. They made me think and feel this way.
Come on, y'all.
When you switch that around, you become a creator of your world. And you start saying, my thinking and my feeling is changing an outcome in my life. And now that's a whole different game. And we start believing more that we're creators of reality.
Is that not God? Is that not God? Are you not God? Are you not Apophos at that time? I pray that you guys get this message. I love you guys so much. It's not a game that we talk about here every day. When you understand that you are the creator of your life and its outcome, these are the keys to becoming a superhero. Be Thanos, son.
So how do we go from, okay, I have this negative emotion, it's controlling my life, it's got me in this cycle of, I think about this emotion, which triggers a chemical reaction, which trains my body to feel that way, which makes it easier and more likely I will do it again. And so now I'm in this vicious cycle.
And unconscious, and it's unconscious.
Right. And you said, does your thinking create your environment, or does your environment create your thinking? Which I thought was really, really interesting. So how do we then go from that, like mechanistically, to begin this visualization process of something that's empowering? It's me in a different state. It's my future self. Is it meditation? Is it, what is that?
Y'all ready? I hope everybody listening share the stream so y'all can get these keys. They just gonna repeat what God already shared with us, but I need y'all to pay attention.
That look like?
If you're not being defined by a vision of the future, then you're left with the old memories of the past, and you will be predictable in your life.
If you are not chasing after perfection, then mediocrity will chase after you.
And if you wake up in the morning and you're not being defined by a vision in the future, as you see the same people and you go to the same places and you do the exact same thing at the exact same time, it's no longer that your personality is creating your personal reality. Now your personal reality is affecting or creating your personality. Your environment is really controlling how you think and feel unconsciously, because every person, everything, every place, every experience has a neurological network in your brain. Every experience that you have with every person produces an emotion. So some people will use their boss to reaffirm their addiction to judgment. They'll use their enemy to reaffirm their addiction to hatred. They'll use their friends to reaffirm their addiction to suffering. So now they need the outer world to feel something. So to change then is to be greater than your environment, to be greater than the conditions in your world. And the environment is that seductive. So then why is meditation the tool? Well, let's sit down, let's close our eyes. Let's disconnect from your outer environment. So if you're seeing less things, there's less stimulation going to your brain. If you're playing soft music or you have earplugs in, less sensory information coming to your brain. So you're disconnecting from your environment. If you can sit your body down and tell it to stay like an animal, stay right here. I'm going to feed you when we're done. You can get up and check your emails. You can do all your texts, but right now you're going to sit there and obey me. So then when you do that properly and you're not eating anything or smelling anything or tasting anything, you're not up experiencing and feeling anything, you would have to agree with me that you're being defined by a thought, right? So when the body wants to go back to its emotional past, you become aware that your attention is on that emotion, and where you place your attention is where you place your energy. You're siphoning your energy out of the present moment into the past, and you become aware of that. And you settle your body back down in the present moment, because it's saying, well, it's 8 o'clock. You normally get upset because you're in traffic around this time. And here you are sitting, and we're used to feeling anger, and you're off schedule. Oh, it's 11 o'clock, and you usually check your emails and judge everybody. Well, the body's looking for that predictable chemical state. Every time you become aware that you're doing that, and your body is craving those emotions, and you settle it back down into the present moment, you're telling the body, it's no longer the mind, that you're the mind. And now your will is getting greater than the program. And if you keep doing this over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, just like training a stallion or a dog, it's just going to say, I'm going to sit. And the moment that happens, and the body's no longer the mind, when it finally surrenders, there's a liberation of energy. We go from particle to wave, from matter to energy, and we free ourselves from the chains of those emotions that keep us in the familiar.
We go from particle to wave. What did I say? I said they want us to focus on a non-existent wave. God is good. You've been giving me this message. I say divinely inspired a message, man. You go from particle to wave. You go from human to God. Simply by being able to do what she makes a simple joke. Who knew what she was saying was so important? Simply by she just going, him and gold professor, bring into the realm that emotions are based on past traumatic events. And when you are speaking from your emotions, you are speaking from the past. And as a man, you need to move and act in the moment so you can make the best decision for your future. What he's saying is that if you're speaking from your feelings, you're speaking from your emotions, you're speaking from your past, that means you will repeat the same mistake over and over. You find yourself in the same pothole. How many times have I told you about the analogy of life is the same pothole? Life is the same street with the same pothole. You go down as a young man, you jump in the pothole because you are curious. It's the same pothole. What you finally learn, what she is trying to teach you, that what makes you jump in the pothole the second and third time is this trauma from the first time when you ended up in the pothole, and the pothole becomes familiar. The race to the bottom, the muck, the hole, the dark, the filth, what you're able to do in the dark because no one can see what you're doing down there in the pothole becomes attractive and familiar, and we get acquainted with the bottom. This is the N word. And then you become so acquainted and comfortable with the bottom that it's uncomfortable to get out the pothole. Change is uncomfortable. We know we ain't supposed to be in the pothole. We know God got something better for us. We know better than to have these goddamn bonnets on our head, come out the house looking like this, but yet and still we do it. Yet and still we attracted to the bottom. We attracted to the dirt. We justify it anywhere. We justify the mentality of living in our emotional trauma and why we act the way we act instead of changing and being different and being better than what we was and what our mamas was. It's a class today.
Past, and we've seen this thousands of times. In fact, we can actually predict it now on a brain scan.
Yeah, I found that so interesting. Let's go a little bit harder on metacognition, the notion that you don't have to believe everything you think. I love the way that you talk about that.
Yeah, we have a huge frontal lobe, and it's 40% of our entire brain. And most people, when they have a thought, they just think that that's the truth. And I think one of my greatest realizations in my own journey was just because you have a thought doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So if you think 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day, and we do, and 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts as the day before, and you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, your life's not going to change very much, because the same thought leads to the same choice leads to the same behavior creates the same experience, and the same experience produces the same emotion. And so then the act of becoming conscious of this process to begin to become more aware of how you think, how you act, and how you feel, it's called metacognition. And so then why is that important? Because the more conscious you become of those unconscious states of mind and body, the less likely you're going to go unconscious during the day. And that thought is not going to slip by your awareness unchecked, because it means to know thyself. The word meditation means to become familiar with. So as you become familiar with the thoughts, the behaviors, and the emotions of the old self, you're retiring that old self. As you fire and wire new thoughts and condition the body into a new emotional state, if you do that enough times, it'll begin to become familiar to you. So it's so important. Just like a garden, if you're planting a garden, you got to get rid of the weeds. You got to take the plants from the past year and you got to pull them out.
Is he watching my show? I swear to God, man, these white boys, they be copying our shit, bro. Is he watching my show? Is he watching my show? All right, I'm going to get back to it.
The rocks that sift to the top that are like our emotional blocks, they have to be removed. The soil has to be tenderized and broken down. We have to make room to plant a new garden. So primarily, we learn the most about ourselves and others when we're uncomfortable. Because the moment you move into that uncomfortable state, normally a program jumps in. When that program jumps in, it's because the person doesn't want to be in the present moment and engage it consciously. So when you teach people how to do that with a meditative process, turns out that when they're in their life, they're less likely to emotionally react. They're less likely to be so rigid and believe the thoughts they were thinking. They're more aware of when they go unconscious back into a habit, and that is what starts the process of change. And so we have to unlearn before we relearn. We have to break the habit of the old self before we reinvent a new self. We have to prune synaptic connections and sprout new connections. We have to
unlearn before we relearn. He said prune synaptic connections. This brother been watching my show.
And unwire and refire and rewire. We have to unmemorize emotions that are stored in the body, then recondition the body to a new mind and to a new emotion, like deprogram and reprogram. That's the act. And it's a two-step process.
Yeah, I like the way that you call that out as an action. There was another thing that you said that I thought was really powerful about how insights themselves are essentially inert. They don't do anything. What then do we do with an insight? How do we take a breakthrough moment and make sure that it's not just a breakthrough moment? Like, I guarantee people watching right now are having like 100 aha moments. For sure, that was definitely the case for me as I was researching you. And when you said that, I was like, and that's the danger, that you have the aha and then nothing.
Yeah. And it is a danger, because then people will shrink back into mediocrity, and they'll use the insight to excuse them from taking a leap. They'll say, yeah, I have a chemical imbalance in my brain. Yeah, my father was really overbearing. He was a perfectionist. That's why I am the way I am. People, they come up with stuff to excuse themselves. The insight is actually giving them permission to stay limited.
My grandmother had diabetes. My grandfather was an alcoholic. My mama was on welfare. Oh, my mama got divorced. Oh, my daddy didn't love me. Oh, my mama didn't love me. And this traumatic event manifests itself in a relationship and why they can't be faithful, why they cheated on you, why they stole money from you after you trusted them, why they backstabbed you.
And it's an amazing idea because they'll say to you that they really want to get over their anxiety. But let's take your ex-husband, let's put him in a straitjacket, let's duct tape him and shoot him to the moon. Now what? I mean, what are you going to do now? You still have to make those changes. And so then when the person's enemy dies or something shifts in their life and that person's gone, they'll find another person to hate. This is just how we function as human beings. We just slide another reason to feel those emotions. So I think when people start to understand this, I think knowledge is power, but knowledge about yourself is self-empowerment.
So how much of this is really learning to just bifurcate the world into there's negative emotions that have negative neurochemistry associated with, and you said that in those states, if you're living in a perpetual state of stress hormones and things like that, illness is like a step away. And then just the other side of that is understanding, but there's this whole other side of positive energy, which happiness, joy, empowerment, whatever that, neurochemical cocktail is, but that when you're on that side, your immune system is more likely to function well. Like, is that just sort of bringing it down to like a really base level? Is that sort of one of the big pieces?
Well, let's talk about it in terms of survival or creation. As I said, 70% of the time, people live in stress, and living in stress is living in survival. Now, all organisms in nature can tolerate short-term stress. A deer gets chased by a pack of coyotes. When it outruns the coyotes, it goes back to grazing and the event is over. And the definition of stress is when your brain and body are knocked out of balance, out of homeostasis. The stress response is what the body innately does to return itself back to order. So you're driving down the road, someone cuts you off, you jam on the brakes, you give them the finger, and then you settle back down and the event is over and boom, now everything's back to normal. But what if it's not a predator that's waiting for you outside the cave, but what if it's your coworker sitting right next to you? And all day long, you're turning on those chemicals because they're pushing all your emotional buttons. When you turn on the stress response and you can't turn it off, now you're headed for disease because no organism in nature can live in emergency mode for that extended period of time. It's a scientific fact that the hormones of stress downregulate genes and create disease, long-term effects. Human beings, because of the size of the neocortex, we can turn on the stress response just by thought alone. We can think about our problems and turn on those chemicals. That means then our thoughts could make us sick. So if it's possible that our thoughts could make us sick, is it possible then our thoughts could make us well? And the answer is absolutely yes.
If our thoughts can make us sick, can our thoughts make us well? We know this. I worked in, when I first was working at the hospital up here, the state hospital, when I was temping before I got my permanent gig, I was working in the children's cancer unit. It was a difficult place to work. It was, I was working with a new software, and Pastor $40 may be familiar, but they didn't have a module for, the module was called, I won't even say the module's name because I don't know if it's preparatory, son called help me out. But I was learning a new module because, and it was going to be difficult for the kids. They had a module for the adults on how you would chart the EMR for someone who was getting the dialysis, I believe, right? But it's different for children because they want to be able to change on the fly and see and adjust the titration for the child. So it was difficult to come up with a workflow. But shit, I forgot what did he just say? Why did I even bring that up? I forgot why I brought that up. But hold on.
Human beings, because of the size of the neocortex, we can turn on the
Rewind to 30 seconds,
not
Perfect.
alone. We can think about our problems and turn on those chemicals. That means then our thoughts
Oh,
could
he
make
said thoughts can make you sick and it can make you well. In the cancer unit, that's like the nurses wear superhero uniforms. I pray you don't. I pray you never notice. But if you notice, you notice. And the cancer for the kids with the cancer, and you seen the St. Jude commercial, and those kids are stronger than the adults. They get better fast. How they respond. They're and I believe I have to believe that the things that he's teaching today is the reason why the kids get better faster than the adults, because they don't have enough knowledge they don't have this long history of bad memories. If you program them with only good stuff, then they only have that good stuff to pull from, and those good thoughts make you better, which is why they wear the superhero uniforms in that unit. I pray you never had nobody in that unit. But if you ever go to that department in the hospital, or if you see nurses, don't disrespect them. Don't laugh at them. Those nurses are working with cancer kids. And they are dressed up like superheroes because of what he is saying is not no conjecture. It's not up for debate. Anybody watching. A lot of times I'll be trying to give y'all the key on this, and I go to perfection, but it's like, nah, they can't. So I give you the bad, because I know you guys have done dirt. I know you took a drink, took a hit, and go beat up somebody, scratched the car, or stepped on the bug. I know you done that before, but you may not have put on a superhero uniform to bring about a certain change and see God come about and see somebody get cured from cancer. But it happens.
Peace to the chat. Peace to the panel.
Peace, Sir Clark.
This is old Perfect.
It's old?
Yes.
You seen this before?
300 BC. That's how old some of this stuff is. 300 BC. 300 years before Christ.
Just the apophos, the way G came and said it, that's not new. That's why I keep saying to you, the journey to apophos, that's not new. But that's not even a term that's in our lexicon.
But I am glad that you have arrived at this. This form of philosophy, to me, is almost sounding like Stoicism. Gonna put a link in the back chat. If you can scroll down to the paragraph on Epictetus. Now, what Perfect was talking about, what those nurses are doing, and I'll have to look at this other thing later. What they're doing is giving these kids hope. Your body reacts to hope and hopelessness. You also have a lot of experiments that have been done in the laboratory that are very interesting experiments. But we'll get into that much later. Because they also have to do with hope.
Keep hope alive.
Epictetus, a former slave, improved his station in life, becoming one of Stoicism's most analytical thinkers. Epictetus's Handbook. I'm not even sure how you pronounce that. Perfect.
Is that in I wanted to say endocrine. Is that in Crierdon?
It sounds like it.
I don't know, man.
Second. Thanks to the beauties of the internet,
Yeah,
we can find out how that is pronounced.
I can look up what it means too. Some things are in our control and others are not.
The Enchiridion.
Enchiridion. Some things are in our control and others are not. Things are in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and in one word, whatever our own actions.
Mm-hmm. I keep going.
Oh, that's just the definition on Google. That's what it
Okay.
says on there too. I wasn't reading.
So
Go ahead.
So then it says at the bottom of that paragraph, for instance, one of his principles is the basis of the Serenity Prayer. God grant me the wisdom to accept the things I cannot change. Courage to change the things I can. And the wisdom to know the difference. It sounds familiar, don't it? Perfect. Sounds real familiar.
It does, don't it?
It kind of sounds a little bit like that video that you're playing today.
Right. It does.
We ain't talking about the turkey leg hut, but we are talking about the turkey leg hut.
We are.
And that right there, that stumbling block, is one of the main issues that we're having today. It's one of the reasons that many men find themselves in this space. And it's one of the stumbling blocks in life. Because sometimes people are not willing to accept those things that they cannot change. And they don't want to find the courage to change the things that they can. And they have wisdom in some areas of life, but they don't have it in other areas of life. As if that kind of knowledge does not apply in other areas of life. They're good businessmen or good businesswomen, but they don't apply some of those principles that they successfully apply in one area of life into other areas. If you are depressed, perfect. Do you happen to have a pain scale at your hospital?
They do have a pain scale.
Where patients report their level of pain.
Yes. And that's how you medicate them based on their pain score.
Do you know that there are things that affect their pain score apart from their pain?
Yes.
The depression affects their pain score.
Mood.
Their mood. So if those kids are happy, even though they have these chemicals, these toxic chemicals coursing through their veins, chemicals that are so toxic that you know what they make you do? They make you shave your head off. Because these chemicals are so toxic that they'll have your hair falling out of your head in clumps. And it's basically a preventative measure to keep your mood up, because if you put your hand through your hair and you have clumps of it come out in your hands, whole patches of it come out in your hands. I'm not talking about like a hair or two. I'm talking about patches in areas the size of quarters or even larger than that coming out of your head. Or you wake up and half of your head of hair is on your pillow, just sitting there. That stuff is going to depress you. In fact, it's going to make you afraid. I'm dying. This ain't even right.
Some other severe effects, Sunclaw, is it will prohibit the medication from working.
Mm-hmm.
Your mood can prohibit the medication from working. You'll just piss it out or shit it out. The chemical reaction will not occur.
Those nurses trying to make the experience fun for those kids, to make them forget where they're at, because that's part of it too. They're trying to make those kids forget that they're even in a hospital.
We're talking about the cancer unit.
It helps
We're talking about the
kids
children's cancer
live.
unit.
It helps those kids live.
It helps those kids live.
It helps to alleviate their pain.
It helps the parents. There was a pre-education before I had to go through I had to meet individuals from that department. I was not going to be allowed to work in that building unless they approve me, unless they approve my character. Then they was going to see if I knew the workflow and I was going to be able to teach them. But they had to be okay that I was going to be okay around these children, and that my mood would not affect the children's mood negatively. SunCloud, do you hear what I'm saying? I already had the job. But they needed to know that the person that was going to come in and teach them this computer program would not be a person that would adjust the moods of the employees and the children. So I had to meet everybody and be okay. And I had to understand, because I'm in a suit and tie and I'm meeting Batman and I'm meeting Wonder Woman. And I worked in the hospital 10, 15 years and I never met Batman and Wonder Woman before. And I had to go through this education. Who moved my cheese? And I had to grow and expand. And I had to understand, and I saw the blessing these individuals were. And then once I got past the ignorance, then I had to think about, well, how much time did she go into creating this outfit? And they got a different one every day. How much does she love this children? How much does she love? This has to be her calling. You don't do this for money. We talking about the Children's Cancer Unit. We talking about the power of thought. How do you become a superhero? How do you become more than what you are now? Understanding the power of thought. Your mood can. I was watering my plants today, SunClaw. Do you know I'm feeding my plants certain nutrients? Do you know you can feed the plant nutrient and then not take it up? It's more. What SunClaw is explaining, just simply because I give the plant nutrients doesn't mean that it's going to take them up in the roots. There's other things that I must do. He talked about pruning. I had to add special soil that made the nutrients in such a way that the plant would take it up. I have to treat the plant a certain way. Do you know it's just like taking a shit, how you can feed your body junk food and it doesn't? You ever heard that analogy where you can give your body something that doesn't benefit your body? You could do the same thing to a plant. You could do the same thing to a person. In order for me to give you this medication to make you feel better or to cure you, you have to have the proper mental outlook. The doctor tells you all the time that you got to believe that this therapy gonna work. If you don't believe it's gonna work, then you possibly gonna die. I've been in there with grandma, and a lot of times we sitting around the doctor, you didn't have all these thoughts from the TV, and the doctor telling you that half of this shit gonna be y'all belief. Y'all being here, helping her, holding her hand, praying for her every day. I've seen that work. How many of y'all have heard the doctor say that? This is a class today. Thanos Monday, this is a class today. She the wolf always talks about your feelings and your emotions. Today when I was studying SunClaw and he broke down an emotion, how emotion and the feeling is simply an emotion that's tied to a traumatic event from the past. Every morning you get up and you think about past emotion. Damn, that pussy was good last night. Damn, that alcohol was good last night. Damn, I had fun last weekend. You're living in the past, and what you're trying to do and what you end up doing is manifesting that over again. It's extremely difficult for you. Everybody sleep on the same side of the bed. Sleep on the other side of the bed tonight. Get up on the other side of the bed this morning. Do something different tomorrow. See how your body reacts. Just test the things that you're learning today. See how your body reacts differently. Smoke a different pack of cigarettes. Drink a different cup of coffee. Your body will react chemically differently because it's dopamine set up when you give yourself that thing that comes. It's the cheese. It's a control. Y'all didn't hear what I said. Because you hear control, you think about it one way. It's a control. Think about a lab rat. But you do it to yourself with your same cup of coffee every day. It's your control. And you know and I know if you drink something different, your day goes differently. But some of you listening are not able to grasp this concept. It's still too lofty. I preached about the lofty city yesterday. It's still too high up. It's still out of your perspective. Go ahead, my brother.
I'm going to admit something. I had an issue with my car. A buddy of mine told me he was going to come at a particular date. And he was going to help me fix my car and get the car straight. And the date came and the date went. My friend was nowhere to be found. But I could call him. He said, well, I'm changing the date to such and such. Did you know I had the audacity to be upset with that friend?
He was still going to come. He was still going to help.
I was upset at him because he didn't come and help me fix my car for free. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was upset that he didn't come and help me fix my car for free. Free. How dare I be upset with this man? But guess what? My friend wasn't able to come to help me. But guess what he was able to do? When I called him while I was in the middle of the job and I had an issue, guess what he was able to do?
Tell us.
He was able to help me with the knowledge that he had. He was not physically there to do the work, but he was able to guide me and aid me in doing the work myself. You know that transmission job I was telling you about?
Yeah.
It happened, I think, in November. December, I was too busy to get working on the issue. I had to wait until January. And it was cold.
Shit.
And I was in a carport. So it's uncovered on two sides. On my back on concrete. With the car jacked up on 4 jack stands. Underneath the car. In the winter. With the wind blowing. Couple of layers of clothes on. I made preparation, so I got a little gas-powered, what's that, mini buddy, a heater. And I was underneath the car, working like that. On my back, fixing the transmission on my car. I watched a couple of YouTube videos on it. And when I needed more help than a YouTube video could give me, I called my friend up. But was it right for me to be upset with him? And the answer is no. It was not all right for me to be upset with him. Oh, well, he said this, that, and the other. He was going to be helping me for free. And I wasn't going to be paying shit. So what right do I have to be mad at this friend? I had absolutely no right to be mad at him. Because when I called him, when I had an issue, he talked me through the issue. This man saved me thousands, potentially $3,000 to $4,000. Just with the advice he gave me over the phone that helped me complete this job, it saved me thousands. And I had the audacity to be upset with him. Guess who had control of when that work started on that car?
Sunclaw.
Yes, I had control of when that work started on that car. Because I had the tools, the capability, and just enough knowledge to get that thing started. The knowledge that I did not have, my friend was willing to provide. I could call him and he would help me through the issue if I had any issues. But at the beginning, I had to catch myself and say, how dare you be upset with him? You're acting like you don't have agency in this situation. You're acting like you can't do the work yourself. You're acting like that friend won't pick up the phone and advise you when you get stuck somewhere along the line. If I had taken it to a shop, they would have told me, you need a new transmission. They would have charged me for a new transmission and the labor to put it in. And yet what I needed was a $250, $350 part within the transmission,
Right.
to be replaced.
We talked about that. Yep. Huge difference.
It took me some time to do it because at first I didn't have every absolute thing that I would need. When I dropped the part out, I was happy. But I came upon a stumbling block when I had to put the part back in. The part was too heavy for me to lift it up while on my back, while underneath the car, and hold it up for long enough for me to get one of the bolts started. It was too much. I had to meditate on it. I had to think about how to solve that problem. Went about looking it up. I ordered a bottle jack for a Toyota SUV. It's a telescopic jack. I used that and a block of wood and a drill to be able to hold up that part so that I can get some of the bolts started. It took me a while. I'm not going to lie. It took me a while to get that thing finished, but I got it finished. And my friend, even though he physically did not do the work, when I got stuck, he gave me advice. Hey, when you're on this step, make sure you clean everything. Make sure you have some brake fluid or some brake cleaner so that you can spray off the area and make sure that there's no dust there. Do this, do that, do the other. He gave me knowledge that wasn't necessarily in a YouTube video. But at the beginning, I was upset with him because he didn't come and do the work himself for free. And I wasn't going to be paying shit. And I had the audacity to be upset when the control was always in my hands. There's situations in life where you're upset with people, yet you were the one in control of the situation the whole time. And you have the audacity to be upset with them. How dare you? I said to myself. How dare you be upset at a friend who, even though they physically could not be there to do the work, were still willing to help you and give you advice. And that advice is worth something.
Invaluable.
Without that advice, you would have not been able to do the work. And you have to watch yourself.
Not Tuesday yet.
You have to watch your thoughts.
Yeah.
Not your back, not yourself against other people. You are at times your worst enemy. You take situations and you warp them. You reject reality and you replace it with your own. And in this reality, you were wronged. That friend of mine didn't break that transmission. He didn't mess up my car. He was there, or was going to be there, to help fix that transmission. And in all honesty, he was probably going to handle all the work by himself. And I was just going to sit back looking pretty watching. And I had the audacity to be upset with this man. How dare you? How dare you? I had to say to myself as I looked at myself in my mirror, reflecting on my thoughts.
Shit.
How dare you? How dare you even think that way? And that's one of the key things in life. That sometimes it's how you think about the situations that affect the outcomes. Just like those guys were talking in the video. Just like if you were to listen to Epictetus, sometimes it's you and the way that you look at things in life that affects the outcomes, that affects your mood, that affects the emotion. Like, man, my girl done cheated on me. And one of my buddies done run off with her. I'm upset. I should go and do something to him. The only thing you should do to that buddy of yours is send him a damn gift card. You should send him a gift card because he showed you what you were dealing with. Because if it wasn't him, it was going to be somebody else. He was a wolf in your story. He was showing you that house you built won't worth a damn. And before you moved kids up in there, invested more in this house that wasn't going to stand, he showed you how flimsy that house was before something worse could have even happened to you. And you're upset with him? Again, this is how you look at things that happen to you in life. It's going to affect your mood. It's going to affect the outcome. Because depending on how you think about it, you'll either get depressed or you'll be happy. And the only difference was your attitude and your way of looking at the situation. The same thing happened, but the only difference was how you looked at the situation. and that affected your outcome, depression or happiness. This man showed you how treacherous this person who you had as a partner was. And you want to do harm to this person? How dare you? He took nothing from you because that which he took was never yours. And he simply showed you that it wasn't yours.
Perfect and Sun Claus show. Thanos Monday. Hold on, let me hear about Thanos that one time, man.
Yeah, peace go, Professor.
All right, let's get back into the video. That was very powerful, Sun Claus. Thank you so much. Let's get back into it.
Make us sick. So if it's possible that our thoughts could make us sick, is it possible then our thoughts could make us well? And the answer is absolutely yes. So then,
Pause it right there, Perfect.
emotions that are connected to survival.
You heard what that man said. Is it possible, if it's possible for your thoughts to make you sick, your thoughts can make you well?
He said absolutely.
If it's possible for your thoughts to make you unhappy, then it's possible for your thoughts to make you happy. Continue.
Well, let's name them. Anger, aggression, hostility, hatred, competition, fear, anxiety, worry, pain, suffering, guilt, shame, unworthiness, envy, jealousy. Those are all created by the hormones of stress. And psychology calls them normal human states of consciousness. I call those altered states of consciousness. So then we tend to remember those traumatic events more because in survival, you better be ready if it happens again. And when the survival gene is switched on, you could have 10 really great things that happen to you in your day. And you just have one bad thing that happens and you cannot take your attention off that unhappy thing because the survival gene is switched on.
It's really interesting. How does epigenetics come into play in all this? Like, what's actually happening? You've talked pretty profoundly about.
Shout out to Nameless. I was thinking about Nameless, and she, when this came up, like very powerful. Like they are very echoing some sentiments that we've been talking about as keys for brothers and men in this space. So just take notes, y'all. Now we getting into what Nameless is very well versed in. So let's take a listen.
Proteins and like really at a deep level, how
epigenetics
to our genetics to create these kinds of changes. What does that actually look like?
Well, epigenetics, epi means above the gene. And many years ago, after the DNA helix was discovered by Watson and Crick, they said the blueprints of life, all diseases are created from genes. Turns out less than 5%, more like 1% of people on the planet are born with a genetic condition like type 1 diabetes or Tay-Sachs disease or sickle cell anemia. The other 95 to 99% are created by lifestyle and by choices. You can take two identical twins, exact same genome. One dies at 51, the other one dies at 85. Same gene, different environment. So all of a sudden they said, we lied. That was wrong. It's not genes that create disease. It's the environment that signals the gene that creates disease. Well, okay, but that's not the whole truth too, because you could have two people working side by side in the same factory. One gets cancer after being exposed to a carcinogenic for 25 years, both working for 25 years. The other one has no cancer at all. So there must be some internal order that would cause one person to not get it while another one does. So is it possible then, if the environment signals the gene, and it does, and the end product of an experience in the environment is called an emotion, can you signal the gene ahead of the environment by embracing an elevated emotion? We've done the research on this. We measured 7,500 different gene expressions in a group of people that came to an advanced event for 4 days. And we had them doing a seated meditation, a walking meditation, a laying down meditation, a standing meditation. And at the end of 4 days, just 4 days, the common 8 genes that were upregulated, 2 genes to suppress cancer cells and tumor growth, 2 genes for neurogenesis, the growth of new neurons in response to novel experiences and learning, the gene that
We were just talking about cancer.
signals stem cells to go to damaged areas and repair them. The gene for oxidative stress was upregulated. We started seeing all these genes that are very, very healthy to cause the body to flourish. Imagine if people were doing that for 3 months. We also measured telomeres, the little shoestrings on the end of DNA that tell us our biological age. We asked people to do the work, meditation, 5 out of 7 days for 60 days. Measure their telomeres to determine their biological age. 60 days later, 74% of the people lengthened their telomeres. 40% significant change. 20% a very remarkable change. That means that they got a little bit of their life back. If they lengthened by 10%, they got 10% of their life back.
SunCloud. Simple meditation and positive thinking and outlook gave them back 10% of their life. This is not just a superpower. This is like going back in time. When I'm talking about superhero, I'm talking about superpowers. We're talking about real powers of the mind. The finances is good. We got to get our finances together. I love all the talk about finances. But this talk about self. It's talking about understanding self and the powers that you've been given. He just said it'll give you back. How he talked earlier about being a creator. For me, creator is God. Robert Greene and that other video going up. That video almost my second highest video. Where Robert Greene is talking about how it is this power that we have going from human to God. Again, being able to manifest your own reality. He said, what if he's talking about hacking yourself because you are being hacked, you are being programmed. As I talk about the social media feed, what they're feeding my daughter, what they feeding my son, as we talk about Simone Biles and Shar, and I got y'all to understand why it's called a social media feed. What are they feeding you? They're feeding you a certain thing, a certain program to elicit a certain response. He said, what if you hack that equation? The journey of Apathos, the Perfect Man Show, is a hack. It's perfect timing is a hack. It's us saying we're not, it's the difference between the red and the blue pill. The blue pill accepts the program. Silas liked the program. He wanted to go back in the program. He just wanted more money and more fame. I know this steak is fake. I still want to go back in the matrix. It's too hard living outside the matrix. See, this the other part. See, it's all the glitter and the gold. SunCloud is sharing with you. See, it's not all glitters ain't gold because it's not easy. If you look at the matrix, you see the fighting and everything, but it's not easy. It's not easy to leave the warmth of the matrix and to go off on your own and to start living on your own. I said the other day on Sunday, the most beautiful thing about it is that you have all the power in your hand to change your life. The most scariest thing about it is you have all the power in your hand. Because think of you a 20-year-old idiot. Think about when you were 20 and somebody telling you it's all within your hands and your power, and you look down at your hands and you like, me? It's all in my hands? You sure me? A whole me? You feel like you're not ready. You feel like you're not worthy. But those kids in that cancer unit, they got to get beyond that 20-year-old fear. That fear that you go into the army. Remember the movie Platoon that they wash away? Those kids in that cancer unit got to deal with that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They got to accept the fact, I've been dying next to a cancer. Me? A whole me? If we don't get past the acceptance of what it is, then we can't change the mood in your reality. A lot of people say, I don't accept it. Fuck cancer. And I'm going to fight it. How you feel about your circumstances in life? Because epigenetics is strong. It's ingrained in a lot of people. We talk about this curse of poverty, this generational curse of poverty. That's epigenetics. When people say you talking white, you act white, that's epigenetics of you staying in your mood. Your elongated, stagnated state of consciousness becomes a temperament. And then you know what he said? It goes, Sunclaw, he did the math. It goes from a feeling to emotion to mood to temperament to personality trait. The personality trait can be, because see, personality, it's a compound word. Don't you like those kind of words? Personality what? Personality what? Personality trait. What is a trait? Traits are handed down. Epigenetics. You understand epigenetics better now? See, it's funny how they give you the words, but then they don't give you everything. That's the whole watch your taco, because it's always a ball to drop. Epigenetics sounds complicated, right? But now, Perfect Timing Sunclaw gave you a personality trait. You may have never heard the term epigenetics and how it affects who and how you manifest your reality, but you know what a personality trait is. Even though you don't know your father, your mother told you about your father, and she say these certain things you do is like your father. That is a personality trait. We understand a personality trait and how those traits are handed down. That's epigenetics. What if we hack and create our own personality trait? That's the superpower. That's the lesson of today's class. What if we hack and create our own personality traits? I am almighty. Shout out to Bruce Almighty. I am perfect. My name is perfect. I am Sunclaw. I am great. I am love. I am worthy. I am special. What if we hack and create our own personality traits? Go Professor in the chat. Shout out Go Professor every day live at 5:30 in the morning. 9 Laws of Self-Governance is a hack. Teaching you how to hack your own mind, how to take control of your own mind. Don't get me started preaching. It's only Monday. Hold on. Teaching you how to take control as a man and create your own person. You have personality traits. We have, Sunclaw, we both have personality traits. He said if we understand our power, we can become the creator. If I have personality traits, where did they come from, Sunclaw? Most oftentimes, they came from them broken people who raised us. But the lesson is, go ahead, sir.
You're sounding like a Maybelline commercial. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know.
You remember that commercial?
No, the Maybelline.
Maybe she's born with it.
I do know that one. Hey, that's facts. That's big facts, man. That's big facts, man. I just want people to know it's a real thing, man. Personality traits. You may have traits from your mother, your father, or people you grew up around. What if you hack? What if you take control? What if you understand the power of your mind like shell shock, and you begin to harness that power to create your own personality traits through meditation, prayer, and positive affirmations? Wait a minute, hold on, it's Monday. Wait a minute, hold on.
That's incredible. Before I ask my last question, tell these guys where they can find you online.
Sure. My website is just drjoedispenza.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There's more connection, that we support and love each other. We serve better. And I think that we have to start, for the most part, if everybody's working on themselves and doing their best to present the greatest ideal of themselves to the world, I think the world will be a better place. And so that's my passion, and I'm witnessing it happening now more than I ever thought I would.
That's incredible. Joe, thank you so much for being.
Let's watch the Stoicism video, man. And before we do a breakdown of what we just saw, and anybody welcome to join the panel, man, as we go into our breakdown. We did commentary, which is why I paused it. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me while I paused the video. Shout out to Shut Up React TV. I found him through Lazo, the MC, and Rose Gold. Shut Up React TV is a great YouTube commentary. He been given the Blessed by Kwame Buzz Brown, but he was doing some what I admire about Shut Up and React TV is he was doing a backpack drive for the kids with the fame and the fortune that he's received from Kwame shouting them out, and I had to admire that. So subscribe to Shut Up React TV, and I'm also learning from him as a YouTube content creator. So he said when you do the videos like this, you pause it a lot, and then you could if anything happens, you can defend it by saying you were giving commentary under fair use, which is why I paused it so many times. So I appreciate everybody hanging out, because that was very special and that was needed. Great class. So I want to look at this other video from this other website that Son Claude brought up about Stoicism, and it was actually a cartoon. So let's check out that cartoon.
Nah, I haven't watched that thing.
Okay, so I don't mind. Let's check it out. It's on YouTube.
What if the world saw me the way I see me?
Not as a criminal, but a kid.
Now the foreign.
You've been stranded thousands of miles from home with no money or possessions. Such a predicament would make many people despair and curse their awful fate. But for Zeno of Cyprus, it became the foundation of his life's work and legacy. The once wealthy merchant lost everything when he was shipwrecked in Athens around 300 BCE. With not much else to do, he wandered into a bookshop, became intrigued by reading about Socrates, and proceeded to seek out and...
This is the philosophy of Stoicism. And this is referring back to the article on Stoicism in the video.
500 years before Christ.
300 years BC. 300 years BC. The power of the mind.
Study with the city's noted philosophers. As Zeno began educating his own students, he originated the philosophy known as Stoicism, whose teachings of virtue, tolerance, and self-control have inspired generations of thinkers and leaders. The name Stoicism comes from the Stoa Poikile, the decorated public colonnade where Zeno and his disciples gathered for discussion. Today, we colloquially use the word stoic to mean someone who remains calm under pressure and avoids emotional extremes. But while this captures important aspects of Stoicism, the original philosophy was more than just an attitude. The Stoics...
I like that. Calm under pressure and not I would say she is definitely stoic. I would say that I would aspire to be more stoic. This is a great, great, great antidote, Son Claude. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That everything
for sure. Because I think all of us got a lot to learn from she and Gold Professor and brothers like that who got this down.
Around us operates according.
That's not to leave you out, and put you in the shit bag with me or anything like that. But I'm just saying,
to a web of cause and effect, resulting in a rational structure of the universe, which they called logos. And while we may not always have control over the events affecting us, we can have control over how we approach things. Rather than imagining an ideal society, the Stoic tries to deal with the world as it is, while pursuing improvement through 4 cardinal virtues.
Did you hear that perfect?
Kinda.
Rewind that about 30 seconds so we can hear that again.
All right.
According to a web of cause and effect, resulting in a rational structure of the universe, which they called logos. And while we may not always have control over the events affecting us, we can have control over how we approach things. Rather than imagining an ideal society, the Stoic tries to deal with the world as it is, while pursuing self-improvement through 4 cardinal virtues. Practical wisdom, the ability to navigate complex situations in a logical, informed, and calm manner. Temperance, the exercise of self-restraint and moderation in all aspects of life. Justice, treating others with fairness even when they have done wrong. And courage, not just in extraordinary circumstances, but facing daily challenges with clarity and integrity.
That is very ambitious right there. I like this because this is some things I got to work on when we talk about goals. Because people could see my show and see how animated I am. They would say I have a lot of courage. I've been on stage before. I did stand up. I do things to like trust myself. But as far as all of these aspects, I consider myself to be an intelligent person. But as far as temperance and justice, if I'm honest, bro, this lesson today and most of my lessons, I believe God gives to me. And I'm simply sharing with the people who love me and who follow me, because I believe I have a lot to learn from today's lesson in becoming more perfect and becoming a superhero. So as I look at this and I give my brother Sheed and my brothers Gold Professor their roses, and I acknowledge that in their stoicism that I lack this temperance and justice, because and it's hard for me to say, a lot of times I react emotional, and it's hard. It was illuminating for myself today to realize that my emotional reactions are based on the past and based on fear. Like a lot of times the lion is reacting a certain way to make sure that something doesn't happen in the future. And what I've learned in my growth here with this show and my brothers is to temper my responses. You know what I'm saying? Sunclaw helps me with that. She helps me with that. But y'all see, a lot of times I have a lot of fire because my temperance and my justice is some things I need to work on and have a healthy balance of these things to achieve my highest state and to be my best self. So this is like applying selfishness, because what actually happens to perfect timing when I'm not using temperance and justice, then I'm not making the best decision, and it's affecting me. It's not affecting anyone else. If I'm doing all of these things, then I'm applying selfishness. I'm able to make the best decision, the most intelligent decision for perfect. But if I'm thinking, if I'm having a temperament, like he said, remember what he said? He said, your mood leads to a temperament, to a personality trait. If I'm allowing my emotion to hang around so long that it becomes a mood, like Garfield, one of my favorite cartoons from a child, because Garfield was always remember Garfield? What's today? What's y'all don't like Garfield. Garfield was known for having the what?
Lasagna.
That was my favorite birthday meal before I became lactose intolerant, sidebar. Garfield was known for having the Mondays. Y'all remember something called the Mondays? The Monday Blues? Garfield and his owner, John, they both had the Mondays. I love Garfield because I was a fat kid and I would be in the mood if I didn't have the right food and things that I wanted. That led me to my overweight and my unhealthy way I treated myself was my mood. Garfield had a mood. He had the Mondays. He was emotional about having this snack, and that led them to have a mood, and that mood became a temperament, and that temperament can become a personality trait, and I exhibit these type of qualities. So today's lesson is for me more than anybody else. My prayer is that it benefits the listener. But as I see wisdom, temperance, and justice and courage, and I think about Sheed and Gold Professor and Sun Claw, and I think about perfect timing and all the fire that I got that I love, I'm thinking about, you know, I could do a lot better with this justice. I cut people off like Thanos Monday. Like I can be unjust at times. I really have no fucks to give. And as far as my temperament, that probably deals with why I can be so unjust. Because I'm in a mood that's become a temperament and a personality trait, and I justify my lack of fairness.
But it's important to know those things about yourself.
This video and today's lesson has really helped me with that, and helped me see how, like I don't know if that experience I had in the cancer unit, I never shared like that. I had to see this video, and God used me to illuminate that, because I want people to know that when you hear this, it's not fake. Like, nah, man, when he's talking about how powerful thoughts are, and if thoughts can make you heal you, then thoughts can make you sick. It immediately made me think about the children cancer unit and those superhero nurses. Can we give the nurses something? Those special responders that's doing this even through COVID. They ain't stopped doing this, y'all. They doing this right now, dressing up as Batman and Superman for people's children, making sure that their mood is such that they could benefit from the treatment, because the treatment is so painful and so difficult to go through that if they get down, then they won't benefit them. I'm gonna finish the video. I just had to go get my little Sunclaw, you want to give anything about these 4 things, these cardinal virtues?
Of those virtues, probably the one that I'm missing is the last one.
Shit, you be here with me every day. What the fuck you talking about? You just talked about fixing the car in the car. Sunclaw, the fuck is you talking about?
I had to catch myself because I wasn't going ahead and starting the work. That was a lack of courage.
Hey, you hard on yourself, bro.
Sometimes you have to be.
That's probably why we're so, like, brothers, don't be so hard on yourself, bro. I don't know how many people could have did what you did, and then you got the reflection of how limited you were in your thinking and for your partner, and you were able to see that in real time. Some people don't see that till after a motherfucker die, you know? They let somebody leave their life before they realize, you know what? He was going to come help me with my transmission. They let somebody pass away. And
but sometimes you have to look at yourself and say, are you right?
Just.
Am I right to be upset?
A lot of time I think, Sunclaw, I like my anger because I'm a fire sign. I like the fire. I've had to learn to release my anger and my hate. And like, what I've did, and I had to learn from anger management. It's even hard for me to admit that I've gone through anger management and therapy, but I had to admit that I would hold on to the hurt because I liked being angry. I liked the hatred. I liked the fire. So even though I could have let something go, and that's where my issue with being just comes from, because I like the fire. So if I don't have to adjudicate things fairly, then I can stay mad at you. And I feel like I'm prettiest when I'm angry, like Muhammad Ali.
And in that story that I told, I was being unjust.
Right.
Because I had unreasonable expectations of him. And I had to realize that and correct that. Again, that goes back to having enough wisdom to be able to do it.
Right.
And the temperance is to bring that under control. Bring that injustice under control.
Damn, it's a good ass show, man. ready for the intro all the way? Yeah, you got to catch up. I swear to goodness, gracious goodness, googly moogly, it's a good show. It's a good show. It's a good show. With my Bill Cosby voice, it's a good show. I mean, do the Bill Cosby face and the Bill Cosby dance. It's a real good show. Slap!
Circumstances, but facing daily challenges with clarity and integrity. As Seneca, one of the most famous Roman Stoics, wrote, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage." But while Stoicism...
That was for you, son, Claude. That was for you. That was for my son. That was for my daughter. That's for my brother. That's for my sister. That's for my wife. That's for my mother. That's for my father. That's for me. Sometimes even to live is an act of courage. That's for every 5.0 Cool Table representative, everybody watching. I love you.
Focuses on personal improvement. It's not a self-centered philosophy. At a time when Roman laws considered slaves as property, Seneca called for their humane treatment and stressed that we all share the same fundamental humanity. Nor does Stoicism encourage passivity. The idea is that only people who have cultivated virtue and self-control in themselves can bring positive change in others. One of the most famous Stoic writers was also one of Rome's greatest emperors. Over the course of his 19-year reign, Stoicism gave Marcus Aurelius the resolve to lead the empire through 2 major wars while dealing with the loss of many of his children. Centuries later, Marcus's journals would guide and comfort Nelson Mandela through his 27-year imprisonment during his struggle for racial equality in South Africa. After his release and eventual victory, Mandela stressed peace and reconciliation, believing that while the injustices of the past couldn't be changed, his people could confront them in the present and seek to build a better, more just future. Stoicism was an active school of philosophy for several centuries in Greece and Rome. As a formal institution, it faded away, but its influence has continued to this day. Christian theologians such as Thomas Aquinas have admired and adopted its focus on the virtues, and there are parallels between Stoic ataraxia, or tranquility of mind, and the Buddhist concept of nirvana. One particularly influential Stoic was the philosopher Epictetus, who wrote that suffering stems not from the events in our lives, but from our judgments about them. This has resonated strongly with modern psychology and the self-help movement. For example, rational emotive behavioral therapy focuses on changing the self-defeating attitudes people form about their life circumstances. There's also Viktor Frankl's logotherapy. Informed by Frankl's own time as a concentration camp prisoner, logotherapy is based on the Stoic principle that we can harness our willpower to fill our lives with meaning, even in the bleakest situations.
Fair use of commentary, fair use of commentary. YouTube kicking everybody on my chat. YouTube don't love me, son Claw. Little old me. Who, me? A whole me? YouTube, you don't love me? Your thoroughborn child would be blind.
This is a wisdom thing, perfect.
Oh, man. What's the wisdom on YouTube clowning and dogging your boy? Hold on, let me hit the Thanos snap for YouTube one time.
Why the hell do you want the wisdom to be spread, man?
That's true, man. That's true.
Wisdom helps people.
That's true. I'm happy.
And let me get the link to Gold Professor's channel.
Oh, yeah, please.
Because people need to go over there.
That's true. Right now, the poll is saying who is in control. 54% say you, 23% say mine, and 23% say so. Y'all know y'all got to do y'all attendance. The attendance.
I still haven't voted on that poll.
Well, damn it, son. Clown, I'm about to get on people about their attendance, and your ass is
Because
more.
I have to contemplate that.
You was a substitute teacher for real, motherfucker. You vice principal for real. You was vice principal of Sun Claw. This motherfucker show up in jeans and shit. You is never gonna be principal.
Yeah, I have to contemplate on that because words have meanings, you see.
I was fucking with you. he said, you an assistant pimp. He said, well, I knew you was the one the Lord chose. He said, yeah, and you will never be that because everybody before you was assistant pimps. And me and my family, we've been pimping since been pimping. He said, if it wasn't for the Lord, I wouldn't have none.
Now, Gold Professor will disagree with you on that pimping front.
What would he say? He said something about pimping today. He said, what's happening there, pimping? What would he say?
He's always been saying that I sound like a slick pimp named Slickback from
for Boondocks.
Yep.
Okay, so Gold Piece.
And I have been contemplating on maybe I need to change my profession.
Been pimping cards. I stand corrected. My partner could never be an assistant pimp. We run together as wolves in the wolf pack. Pimping since been pimping. Oh shit.
And there are things that you have to read. Sometimes you have to read things more than once. Sometimes you have to come back and read something later.
Yeah, shit. I know
for
about
it to
that.
hit you.
I know about that with my dyslexic ass.
It's almost like light that goes through a jewel. It has so many facets, and the light just bounces and bounces and bounces on the inside of this jewel. And sometimes you really can't see that light because it came out of an angle that you weren't looking. And then when you come back again and you look at it again, maybe that light hits you just right and it catches your eye. And you see something that you didn't see before. The same is true with wisdom. Sometimes you have to come back. Sometimes you have to sleep on it. Sometimes you have to digest the information that you have just learned. You have to let your body and your mind absorb it. Let those nutrients from that wisdom feed your brain and enter it. Thoughts and attitudes. Those thoughts and those attitudes. Doesn't that sound like when we were talking about CeeLo Green's song?
Mm-hmm.
F you.
Versus thank you.
Exactly. In one point of view, you can say, man, if it weren't for him, my lady would have never left me. Well, you should have been thinking, I'm glad it was him who showed me. Because if it weren't him, it was going to be somebody else. And at least now, I've got that problem off my hands. I didn't even know that was a problem. And I've got it off my hands now.
Thank God for the wolf.
That wolf didn't take your lady.
Thank God for the wolf.
She went with him willingly, and she was humming and skipping as she went.
Happily, ever after. Ain't that how the story ends? Happily, ever after.
And then she don't think about something else.
Ever.
She went with that wolf. And then she never thought about this. This wolf likes to go into other people's yard and steal their sheep. Maybe he'll do this again because this is part of his base personality.
A trait, Sunclaw?
And so those blessings will multiply. As she left your life, she's going to get that nice gift from that wolf yet again. And that wolf is going to give her some knowledge and some wisdom too.
You might end up with a wolf in sheep's clothing. Hold on. They ain't never heard that before. They ain't paying attention to these nursery rhymes and these stories. They think they just for kids. I said you might end up with a wolf in sheep's clothing. Show up smelling good, telling you everything you want to hear. And next thing you know, your life is somewhere and you living in someone else's picture, and it's not the picture you thought that you would live in.
Yeah, perfect. I was listening to a podcast yesterday. I said to myself, Self, you need to share this with Brother Perfect.
Oh, okay. Please.
But I said to myself, Self, how is this thing relevant? It's relevant today. You know, have some faith in the brother. So I'm going to go ahead and send you that link to that podcast that I listened to yesterday.
Oh, shit. All right, send me the link.
Because I said to myself, man, but this topic is so odd. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing. It has something to do with everything.
Nothing from nothing leaves nothing.
So let me go ahead and take a second to send you the link that I was talking about.
All right. SoundCloud gonna send the link. Let's get back into that mood music forward, man.
Basic flow. When I tried to get my cake to grow, I hit the pawn shop and turned into Trader Joe. Shiesty kid, yak your juice while it's glistening. Snatch the hearing aid from a senior while they listening. If all else fail, don't know where I be. Scratch that, probably at home.
YouTube try to get their money on me, but I know how to be quick. Hey.
Oh, fair use.
Move music forward. Let's go. Thanos Monday in the building. It's the Perfect and SoundCloud show. Don't let your mood affect your life.
Check this. I be at the mall.
We performing a hack today.
In the store, glance up at the wall, pick out a few kids. I need 11s in these. Matter of fact, while you at it, bring them in a size 6. I take shorty shoes off, like here, try on these J's, make sure them shits fit. But in my head it gets thick, saying Joey fall back, cause that's not your kid.
Let's go!
I don't know you, little nigga.
Oh, perfect. I sent you that link to your phone.
Yeah, but he's at home, and the ways
Remix.
don't really get home. Nah, cause his pop's been gone. Fuck it, I'll explain it to him later when he's grown old enough to have a phone. Asking why mommy hate me and he got a sneak to call me whenever he's alone. So you wouldn't know it, but I got a sore spot for you. See, we share them same obstacles. Looking from the outside may seem
Did you send it? I don't see nothing.
Calls me dad, I correct them, I protect them. When baby girls start
Yeah, just check your text.
Okay.
And though it seems out of order, my own mistakes have turned me into your biggest supporter. Fast forward, you wouldn't believe how I could love like mine, what I didn't conceive. Try to help him.
We in the building. Thanos Monday. Snap one time, get them suckers out your life. We performing a hack. I am great. I am almighty. I am perfect. I am beautiful. I am famous. I am victorious. What about you? What's your mood? What's your temperament? What's your personality trait? All we do is win here on Personal Friday. Perfect podcast. All we do is win. Winning is my trait. Winning is my trait. Perfection is my trait. I'm passing down perfection. I'm passing down victory. I'm passing down winning. What you gonna pass down? Let's go.
You get on Skype, saying how you been, what's the word? And I be in the background listening like this motherfucker here got some nerve.
Let's go!
Bye, daddy, I love you. I be wanting to snuff you, but wouldn't have them thinking less of you. But he's perceptive, and the shit's wild.
Thanos Monday music for let's go!
Look through all my resistance. I'm afraid this 2-year-old can already see the difference. He sees you don't provide when you're capable. Why we never fix things? Why we're still able to? So you're no. I've always wanted to family.
Let's go.
When I get through the door, you gonna have to take the L. I can't give you yours. I be one of the you ain't gotta be bothered. You can be his dad.
All right.
I relate though, so I know it hurts. Gotta be uncomfortable when the road reverse.
Boy, do I love Thanos,
My whole life, nigga. Try these out. I relate though, so I know it hurts. Gotta be uncomfortable when the road reverse. Yeah, I mean,
Thanos Monday in the building. Perfect timing, Sun Club.
feel good.
Let's go.
You wanna see how I feel?
To me every day, I need you in every way. Oh, what you do?
Thanos is my name, and I don't play no games. And tonight you don't gotta be alone, cause I got the Infinity Stones. I got the Infinity Stone.
What you got?
Infinity Stone.
What we got, Sun Club? Woo!
Infinity Stone.
Let's go.
Perfect. That site we were looking at. Stoicism 101.
Okay, my bad.
Got a bunch of quotes on there, man.
I'm having too much fun. Thanos is my name. I got the Infinity Stone.
And there's one quote. I just put it in the chat.
All right. Hold on. Let's go back to that. Thanos is my name, and I don't play no games. Thanos is my name, and I don't play
Let's see,
no games.
About halfway down. Here's
Halfway
a quote that I just saw.
Okay. Not introduction, because that would be the beginning. Stoicism.
Let's see what chapter it's in. Who were the Stoics?
Who were the Stoics?
Or what are the main principles of Stoic philosophy? A little bit lower.
Marcus Aurelius.
And go down a little further.
Lucius. Seneca. Seneca Village.
And those last names that these people have, those are the cities that they were born from, where they came from.
What are the main principles of Stoic philosophy? Here we go. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be only, be one. Ooh, that's Thanos Monday. I like that. Where are we going? The chief? No?
Yeah, the one that's that you have posted up. I'm gonna put a link to that to that whole site down there in the chat as well, so that other people can at their leisure.
Here we go.
Look it over.
Seneca. This is Seneca again. Seneca Village in New York. Does you know that?
Do you want to read it or should I?
Go ahead, brother.
Just give me a second. Cut and paste down there for the brothers who want to look into this later on. And since some of this stuff is so ancient, I say.
Ancient 300 BC.
You can find free audiobooks on Audible, for example, because it's not copyrighted anymore. You can find books on Stoicism on Amazon. But here's a quote. I judge you unfortunate because you have never lived through misfortune. You have passed through life without an opponent. No one can ever know what you are capable of. Not even you. Seneca. What?
That's powerful.
You're over here saying, woe is me, my misfortunes, all these things always happen to me. And yet you still stand. You had life try to F you over and knock you down, and you're still standing because you're that strong. And you never even thought about how strong you were, that despite all these misfortunes that have happened to you, you're still here. You're still moving forward. That's how strong you are. Other people would have thrown in the towel. And yet you keep moving, you keep hustling.
Give thanks. Say thank you. Don't say F you, say thank you.
You said, well, other people don't have to deal with this. But other people don't know what you know. You already know what you're capable of withstanding. How strong you are. But because they live their little lives surrounded by pillows,
Man.
all those soft pillows in life, they don't know how strong they are.
Glass
Not
house.
when they lifting feathers.
Glass
You over there been lifting rocks, man. If they go through just 1% of what you go through, they over there lights out, man. They want to go into that forever sleep. When they just experience a fraction of what you have tasted. Because they ain't strong like you are. I judge you unfortunate, because you have never lived through misfortune. You have passed through life without an opponent. No one can ever know what you are capable of, not even you.
When
but to those who
challenge
have
you,
been
they challenge you to challenge you, accept the challenge.
Exactly. Those who have been through misfortune, those who have had difficulties in life, know this. That shit didn't stop you.
Man, they don't challenge you to challenge you. They challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Shout out my brother Zoe.
A coworker of mine had a shirt on. I think it's from like the Marine Corps or something like that. Let me go look into it because I don't want to misquote it. To me, it was amusing.
Shout out to my brother Zoe. When people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you. They challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Sunclaw say we ain't talking about the turkey leg hut, but we are talking about the turkey leg hut, but we not talking about the turkey leg hut. When people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, son. They challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. I pity you. It's misfortune that you live your life without misfortune. Even you don't know your metal. You don't know your breath.
It's like that. If the wolf never came along and blew on those little pigs' houses,
I still be in a fucked up marriage, not knowing what love was. I pray every night for a wolf because I thought I lived in the house.
Wouldn't that be a misfortune?
Wouldn't that be? Hell yeah, for everybody, for all parties. She didn't want to be there, and I was feeling unloved. But she couldn't be honest, and I couldn't leave, so I prayed for a wolf.
I'm gonna link it and put it in the chat. What that quote was, that T-shirt said on the back of it, and I found it to be funny. And this from the Marine Corps. Pain is weakness leaving the body.
Wow.
I think it had to do something with the workouts. You're working out and you're feeling pain as you work out. That pain is that weakness leaving the body. Sometimes heartache is that pain leaving the body.
Cassia Red says that.
She done left you for your best friend. And your heart aches, your heart hurts. That's also pain leaving the body, because she was a pain in the ass And you didn't even know it. You needed that pain to leave you.
You were shell shocked. We talked earlier about shell shock and the power of creating your own life hack. You mentally tell yourself this person love you. And we know better, son Claude. We give these titles so much credence. Wife, brother, mother. The one title I would pray my audience, I would ask men to have is give yourself the same credence. That's the difference of blue pill and the red pill.
I was going down the wrong path because I thought, the title I wanted is Sun Call, Destroyer of Worlds. But okay, the one you have is just perfectly fine. It's acceptable too, I guess.
Okay, I'm with you, brother. What else we got?
And there were some other ones that were interesting. And the one of Seneca's is basically the Serenity Prayer, but just in different words. If you scroll up, I think two quotes. One more. There we go. Isn't that the Serenity Prayer, but just with different wording?
Would you mind? That one kind of caught my eye, so I'm glad we came back to this one.
The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Where then do I look for good and evil? Where then do I look for good and evil? Not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself, to the choices that are my own. To the choices that are my own.
I want to read that.
Go ahead.
The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. I can control what I put in my mouth. I can control how much I put in my mouth. What really helped me is the time when I lost the ability to control whether or not I could use my arm and whether I could walk because I had failed and I had injured myself because of my weight. And at that point now, I lost control over whether or not I was going to be able to walk or lose my arm again. And I had to build back the muscle and the ability to do that. It made me value the things that I took for granted that I actually had control over. That I say on Sunday, I used to get mad when the guest pastor would say, we could be anywhere, but God found your way here. I'm like, go ahead and preach, bro. I never understood that until somebody I was close to didn't make it, and they was there every Sunday. And when he said we could be anywhere, it hit home when that person wasn't there, and it wasn't within our control whether or not that person could be there. So I gave reverence to the fact that some things is not in my control. The fact that we get here every Sunday, the fact that I get here every day with a message is why we bless.
Hey, perfect. Let's get into that smaller paragraph that's not in bold lettering that's under it. Stoics acknowledge that people don't have control over all or even much of what happens in life.
Or even much.
Yes. And they emphasize that worrying about things outside of their control is unproductive. That worrying about things outside of their control is unproductive.
But what's the T, son, Claw? I want the T.
Or even irrational.
I want the T, son, Claw.
To a
what's
person
the T?
who wants to obtain tranquility.
You addicted to the drama. It's motherfuckers in the manosphere that want the tea, that need the tea, that want the beef. What's next? Because I know it sprouts from the Sea of Tranquility. And we also know what the lesson today is. What sprouts from the desert of cynicism and jealousy.
The Stoics would have us remind ourselves daily to actively differentiate between what is and is not under control, to not waste energy over uncontrollable adverse events. Where many people worry endlessly about things out of their control, the Stoics think their energy is better spent thinking of creative solutions to problems rather than the issues themselves.
Can we say that 2 more times? Because I heard somebody say, if you say something 3 times, it's sticking people's head.
Where many people worry endlessly about things out of their control, the Stoic thinks their energy is better spent thinking of creative solutions to problems rather than the issues themselves.
One more time.
Where many people worry endlessly about things out of their control, the Stoics think their energy is better spent thinking of creative solutions to problems rather than the issues themselves.
Thank you, my good brother. You know, some people got upset with Kanye West. I don't think we was ready for this math, even though this math is so old. How could this be so old and people see Kanye West as such a unique person? How? Why must we focus when Angry Man is saying that he's not with reparations because he's reached a certain level of financial achievement in life? And he's saying to people, I was homeless. And you could not be homeless too. But the way you get there is to apply this last sentence. You won't get there worried about reparations or the stimulus check. You have to be creative about, he said, think about any time we change our circumstances. I was homeless. I had to come up with a plan to execute perfect timing. But I had the power within my hands to create a new future. But I had to focus on solutions, whether or not they focus on my homelessness. People are focused on their homelessness, focus on their station. I said here that it's what happens after the storm. 90% is what you do after the event. Not you being homeless, is what you do after you become homeless. Angry Man is an example of what you could do after you become homeless. Rogus said he was homeless. Now he not only is not homeless, he got a beautiful sister on his arm. If you focus on your station, then you become stagnant. This is what the lesson is today about mood, temperament. This is where you stuck. Mood and temperament is you stagnant. You stuck, you're not moving forward. Focus on what? What is the whole mood about? You're focused on the issues themselves. There's a mood of the manosphere. That's what's turning off the young men. That's why I created 5.0, because of the mood y'all got. Son Claus said this, not that. It can't be that, because this is not the same mood. We have a different modus operandi around this camp. Ain't no fences over here at Camp 8.
And perfect. If you were to scroll down, I think a little bit more, I think the sentence of the paragraph starts with external things are not the problem.
Got it.
All right. External things are not the problem. It's your assessment of them, which you can erase right now. That goes back to that story I had told earlier about my friend told me he was coming at a certain date to help me fix my vehicle, and he didn't. And my assessment was to be upset, to have the flagrant audacity to be upset that somebody wasn't coming to help me for free. And I wasn't gonna spend any money because they were doing it for free.
Free.
Which you can erase right now. What I had to erase was being upset with the man. He was going to do that work for free, and I was going to be upset with him? How dare I? I erased that being upset because I had no right to be upset. The Stoic way of life has made its way into modern psychology. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is based on the idea that how we think, cognition, how we feel, emotion, and how we act, behavior, all interact together. Specifically, our thoughts determine our feelings and our behavior.
Our thoughts determine our feelings and our behavior. Hey, Son Claus, how'd you know? This is perfectly melded together with the topic of today, man. You said
I told you that video you were listening to, those topics were old, man.
Man, it's powerful.
300 BC and probably even older than that.
I love it. This is really helping, man. I pray for all the listeners, man. This is a blessing unto those, because like he said in the video, I know the right people listening getting a lot of aha moments. They're having a lot of aha moments. Somebody said earlier in the chat, and thank you, it was a new person, Son Claus. It feels so good. It's such a blessing, man. He said, I wish I could like this stream twice. And I never even seen that person in the chat before.
And I was going to say, of course you can. Go ahead and make another account. Come back to the channel and like it again.
I love you, Son Claus. I love you, Son Claus.
You see, you see problems. I see solutions, brother.
I mean, that's so powerful right there. He said, I wish I could like this stream twice. Thank you, brother. And it's just, and I feel good about anybody. And I know people are getting breakthrough moments with this, because I received breakthrough with this.
That first part of the explanation of that quote, isn't that how you think about that song, Forget You? You can think about that song as Forget You. Or you can think of that song as Thank You.
Right.
Because they took away a trifling person away from you. A person that won't no good. How can you be upset that somebody took away your filthy, stinking trash away from you? And they showed you that it was trash. And here you were hugging on that old rotten baby diaper.
Moldy cheese.
And you were over here kissing
And
on that rotten meat that you threw out last week. That was trash. And you were thinking that was the most wonderful thing in the world, but it was trash.
And you knew it was trash.
And that person took that trash away from you, and all of a sudden you upset that somebody took that dirty, filthy trash away from you. It was unhealthy. In fact, it was making you sick.
Facts.
Those diseases and that bacteria on that trash. And you were over there tongue kissing.
Overweight, depressed, stressed, damn near about to have a heart attack.
And somebody took away all that stress away from you, and you're upset? How dare you?
I say I lost 300 pounds of my divorce. The 100 pounds I lost plus that bitch. How you gonna be mad? I lost weight. I lost that old person. But God, son, Chloe, it hurt. Remember that video I played? He said, "I miss her, boy. I miss her. I go to my car.
And my nose wide open. Wide open.
I didn't want nobody to know." He said, "I'll go cry in the car because I didn't want nobody to know." Hey, son, Claude, sometimes you gotta let go and let God. But look at what we came to. Look at what we found. We found perfection. I said perfect was right there. This answer was always right there. Son Claus said 300 years BC. What did he preach about? He said there's these four, what did he call them? The four what?
Four logos.
Logos. Temperament, justice, courage. What was the other one?
Wisdom.
Wisdom, temperament, justice, and courage. Stoicism. Come on, man. As we've prayed for this, as we've asked for this, as we stepped out on this journey, has anybody seen how God has not let us miss not one step? Each step we take, he's right there. Hold just like footprints in the sand. Hey, perfect. Where you going? Okay, here you go. This where you want to go? Here you go, son. Here you go, son. I feel so blessed, bro. Here you go, son. This is how you achieve perfection. This is how you achieve being a God. This is how today I gave you the definition of being a creator. Who gonna argue with me now? Who gonna argue with us now, son Claude? You are the creator because you create your thought. You know what I was thinking as he was talking? I was thinking about KRS-One and what I told everybody last week. Well, who is this person that we talking to?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when we talked about what a KRS-One said? When you close your eyes and you say hello, and you hear yourself say hello, but you didn't say anything, and you need your ears to hear. How did you hear that? What voice is that? This is what we're talking about. This is the creator. This is the mastering and understanding that voice and understanding that individuals on Facebook, Google, and people who don't have your best interest and your daughter's best interest in heart understand how to program that voice. I'm begging you, develop your voice. And you think I'm talking about the turkey leg hut.
We ain't talking about no John Brown turkey leg hut.
Why?
And let's continue on that explanation on that simple quote that was just 3 sentences. We have to use a paragraph to unpack that. That's how powerful it is. We need to dilute it with more words, so it ain't so strong, so that we are able to consume the wisdom. So Stoicism is an ancient thought that has been proven by modern psychological science. In many ways, one's thoughts determine their experience of reality. That your thoughts can determine your experience of reality. Oh, my girl left me. He took her from me. I should hurt him. My girl left me. He took her from me. And I should send him a gift card, man. Because at least now I know she was for the streets.
Man.
I don't need a woman who's for the streets by my side.
Fatty body.
For two people who undergo the same hardship, their differing assessment of the same misfortune can result in entirely different emotions and behaviors. That dude who supposedly took your woman, let's go body that man. Or as they like to say in Narcos, vamos a quebrar ese cabrón. Let's break him. Or you can say, man, I need to add that dude to my family Christmas card list and send him a Christmas card every year at Christmas time saying thank you.
Thank you.
So you can have the same thing happen to you, but you can have different outcomes. You can be murderous, or you can be thinking about getting this dude a gift card to thank him for doing you that favor. Because in all reality, it was a favor that he did. He didn't harm you. You have a knife in your liver. And he took that knife out. You couldn't reach that blade. You running after him saying, put that knife back in my liver.
That's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. It could be your mother.
That's my knife. Put that knife back in me. No.
And some of us can't let go of the relationship with our mother, can't let go of the relationship with this woman. And we know these people are negative influences in our life. Downloading this faulty program. But I so many times, Sunclaw, I know for a fact from my own experience, we become comfortable with not being the creators of our own reality. And pissed when the person that we didn't entrusted our paintbrush to don't create the reality that we want. It's very fucking childish when you think about it.
And you're mad about things that aren't under your control when you have control over these things.
No, we stay at our mama house till we 25, 26 and talk shit to our mother. Because we don't live the life that we think we should live, as if we don't have the power to create that life, Sunclaw. But we've given over liberty to someone else. Then we leave that couch and go to a woman's couch and expect her, buy my PlayStation, buy my shoes, and her to paint the picture for you. And you come to Perfect Timing Show and you say, it ain't no such thing as the perfect man. Because you're afraid, you lack the courage to create the wisdom. You may not have the knowledge that you can create your own reality. Thank you, sir.
Let us continue. Where one may feel utter despair at the loss of a job, another may feel liberated and hopeful about the opportunity. Where one can feel utter despair at the loss of a job, another may feel liberated and hopeful about the opportunity. Monitoring one's inner critic or cynic towards greater optimism can be a boon to psychological well-being. Remember, it is not the event itself that makes one upset, but one's thoughts about it. So some dude comes along, talks up your shorty. He didn't take her booty. She gave the booty.
Man.
And you're upset at him because she gave herself willingly to him? and you upset and you having these murderous thoughts, you should be thankful that now you knew what you had, which was a woman who was for the streets. And that brother showed you something that you were unable or unwilling to see. And you should be thankful that now you see what you really have. And that you're no longer wasting your energy or your resources for this person. And it don't even have to be about that. It could be other things in life. It's how we see the situation. Man, I lost my job and how am I going to pay this? How am I going to pay that? Man, I lost my job, but you know what? Now I ain't got to deal with that asshole at work. He was making my life miserable. I dreaded getting out of bed every morning because that workplace was awful. Maybe now I can find a better workplace where when I go to work or when I wake up in the morning, I'm not dreading going into work. Oh, but I lost my job. I lost that headache. I lost that stress. I can find another job that'll be better than this one. The other person is thinking, I'll never find another job like you that mistreats me, that makes me dread getting out of bed every morning. Again, it's all about how we come at situations, how we look at things.
Check this out. Check this out. We're going to do some more fair use.
Let me out. I was afraid for my life, but the storm gave me a revelation, and I wasn't scared anymore.
You mean a revelation?
No, a relevation. Okay, I was at a real low point, and the storm swept me up to a real high point, and then left me at a higher elevation. Yeah, wow. That's when the storm gave me my new name. Because, what do we say?
The storm provides.
The storm provides. You can call me Thunderclap.
Thunderclap. Can you help me get home?
Yeah, well, maybe. Oh, but first, we just need to check the area. There's plenty of folks in a very bad way after a storm like this, don't you know?
Thunderclap! I found someone! Over here!
Fair use, fair use.
Fair use.
We could use your help, friend. Whoa! Yeah! That is great!
Fair use. For commentary, teaching, educational purposes.
I just want to take a moment and thank the storm for this meal. You think you can mess with me? I've seen the eye of the storm, and I forgot what fear is. I'm not afraid of anything.
No, I didn't say it.
Hey, where are you going, friend?
I need to get home.
And I said we would get you home. Friend, you have a critter of your own.
Oh, I smell it. One of the juicy ones.
Where is it?
He's hiding over there, by that big rock.
The storm provides.
No!
I always talk about that.
But
So
you see how they had to do it. They gave a moment of insight, and then they had to take a big old dirt clod and throw it on it to obfuscate it, to hide it.
They did.
Interesting.
Yeah. They don't give you the whole thing, but I reference that a lot. So I wanted to show that fair use, and let's pray that they don't bother us, but we could clip that out later. But I had to show the storm provides, and I just how.
But you see how it brought it to your mind as soon as you heard of this way of thinking. You said, "Man, haven't I heard something like this before?"
Yeah. He said, I was made. I share a lot of times that we're made not in the storm, but after the storm. After the divorce, Son Claw. Alonzo Hall, after being shot 5 times. After the pregnancy. After the marriage is when you find out if she's capable of being a woman and a mother. You don't know before she goes through pregnancy and childbirth. She changes. You don't know these things. She don't know these things. But sometimes that's a storm in your life, these events. What we learned today is a lot of times, like with the battle of the sexes, that women hold on to, they might have some event in their life where they got some sexual trauma. And it may not be as severe as they make it out to be, but this trauma dictates the rest of their life and their inability to couple. And they see that it's everyone else's responsibility to unlock. Think about the secret. Think about women to unlock the key to this trauma. And if you can unlock the key to my trauma, then you, my husband, you, my man. It's perverted in so many ways.
Her man does not have the control over that. It's something that is out of his control.
Say it again. Come on.
Only person who can change that, because it's within her control.
Jada Pinkett told Will Smith, I'm not happy. That's why I did what I did. Will Smith said, bullshit.
You did it because you wanted to.
Yes, it's not my responsibility to make you happy. You have to come to me happy and complete. It is my responsibility to come to you happy and complete. What you don't want? You don't want no scrub. You don't want no broke N-word. Broke, not just broke financially, but broken mentally, spiritually. You don't want no broke N-word. How can you expect to come to me broken?
And that is where a lot of the manosphere and what I like to call prosperity manosphere, where it goes astray. Yeah, make all this money and that'll make the women act right.
Right. You're 6 figures, $100,000.
You should be doing that stuff for yourself and for no one else. Not because those things are going to make somebody else change. Because you know what? That's like that story, Perfect. That children's story. Off the grass. Was it the fox or was it the fox and the hen?
Yeah. Or fox and the crow.
They were over there planting seed. They had the idea of making a cake. But the other one was always making excuses of why they couldn't help to either plant, water, harvest, mill the wheat, bake the cake. But at the end, they wanted to come and enjoy the cake when they didn't put any work towards the cake. They wanted to come and enjoy that moist, decadent cake. You know, that cake that when you smell it on the ice and you can smell how sweet it is. And when you taste it, the sweetness, it hits your tongue and it dissolves. And after you swallowed, at the back of your throat, there's a little bit of bitterness from that chocolate left behind. And that's when you grab that
ice cold.
That's when you grab that cold milk and you take a sip of it, and the milk You feel the creaminess of the milk and the cool creaminess of the milk. It fills your mouth and it washes away that little bit of bitterness that was right there at the back of your throat. And that person wanted to enjoy that without doing none of the work.
Out of it. We're not talking about the turkey leg hut. We're not talking about turkey. We're talking about cake and milk. That's all.
And that is what prosperity manosphere is. You ain't having that person. You gonna have that person come in after you did all this work, and they gonna enjoy your cake and milk for nothing?
I'll be good and moogly. Not my cakes and my milks. Not my Duncan Hines. Not today. No, sir. No, sir. They're my Duncan Hines.
That feeling of that little bit of bitterness that the chocolate leaves behind after you swallowed, and that feeling of that milk taking that bitterness away,
Ricky,
and cleansing your palate so that you can rinse and repeat. Perfect. You can rinse with the milk and repeat with more cake. That's what rinse and repeat really comes from. Man.
Rinse and repeat, and we is not talking about the turkey leg hut. We is not. No, just cake and milk when you rinse and repeat.
So they're telling you, yeah, work hard, and then you can just have somebody come along and reap all of what you've sown. They can come in when you needed them to help you earlier. They didn't, and they only came at the end when all the work was done to partake in your moist, decadent, sweet, and slightly bitter chocolate cake. The cake that you put so much work in. They didn't even want to help you in the beginning. And yet you are welcoming them and with open arms after you have finished this cake so that they can come and eat that which you worked so hard for and that they were unwilling to put any work in. I'll be damned, as Pastor would say. I'll be damned.
Hey, son, Chloe, we about to close it out. I got to run. So let's go into closing statements and thank everybody for hanging out for another glorious Thanos Monday. Dope show. I think it was an awesome show in the class and the podcast, and you were all-star man, the stoicism. I'm very I don't know what's the word. I don't know if arrogant ain't the right word. Regal might be better. Royal. I don't know. Heroic. But then you'll come with I'll be feeling like I'm flying through the air and I'm like, no one could touch me. And then Son Claude came with stoicism. And I'm like, this motherfucker flying right next to me. How the fuck is he flying? That just let you know that God was doing the right thing, bro. The way you came with the stoicism, I just got to keep coming, man. Keep praying, meditating, and manifesting, because that was powerful, bro. That was powerful, because I just knew I had me a slam dunk, and then you came with another one, 360. So give your props, man. This has been a powerful show. We hit their ass from different angles.
And I put the link down there in the chat for this resource on stoicism. And your own time, you can go over there and look at these different Stoic philosophers. You can find the audiobooks, which is how I partake on them, because while I'm working, I have time to listen. And I have to pause it. I have to listen, and sometimes I have to pause it, because sometimes there's so much in things that are so simple that I have to stop it and just think about it and reflect on it. How does that apply? Have I seen this before in my life? And if I had this knowledge back then, what would I have done differently?
Right. What would I have done differently?
This thing would have helped me.
Wisdom. That's wisdom.
Now I know I can use it in the future in these situations that I have experienced in the past. Because there's so much out there, you know. Sometimes people think the world was invented yesterday, you know. When they were born, that's when the world started. Hell no. There have been people who came before us who lived life. They lived a harder life. And they gained this wisdom. And if we are so arrogant to think that we cannot learn from the past, then we will suffer. Oh yeah, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in the Bible. Read it anyway. Read it anyway because you might find some wisdom within. Now, why do I have to read about some Chinese philosopher? Maybe he has some wisdom for you to learn, brother. There's wisdom all around us, but are we willing to learn? Or as Gold Professor would say on his show, are you willing to read? And let me get that link to Gold Professor's channel again. And put that back up there so that people can go and partake on the Gold Professor. 5:30 West Coast time, 7:30. Actually, it's 8:30 East Coast time. And would it be 7:30 Central time? I don't know.
We have to look it up.
But that's if you want to catch the Gold Professor live. But you can also catch the Gold Professor in the reruns. Go ahead and watch some of his old content.
Replay gang.
And go over there and like and subscribe to the man. Because he's going to give you some wisdom in a different way. You see, sometimes you have to approach the same problem sometimes, and you have to come in a different way. You see this big old mountain, and it's steep. It's not even vertical. That thing is so steep that when you're climbing, you're like at a 120-degree angle. You ain't gonna fall. You're not even gonna fall beside the mountain. You're gonna fall away from the mountain. The thing is so steep. As you look up, it's almost towering over you, over top of your head, not just straight up. That's how steep the thing is. And if you had just simply explored and gone around, you would have seen that it had a nice, gentle sloping hill on the opposite side that you could have just walked up instead of struggling so hard to climb this thing. Because you came at this problem in a different angle. There was a better way to solve this problem. And because you didn't examine it, you went the hard way when somebody else who examined it could just take a leisurely stroll up and get to that summit that you climbed hard to get to the top of. So go educate yourselves, read, listen to a couple of podcasts on philosophy, because there's a lot of stuff out there. And we can all learn a little bit of something.
Now we was once two niggas of the same kind. Went to holla at a hoochie with the same line. Sorta, honestly,
Again, examine your life. Examine the things that happen to you. Sometimes things that you thought were misfortunes were actually blessings. Man, my boys left me. They were supposed to take me to that party, and they just went to that party without me. And you're upset that they went to that party without you. And then the following day you hear that there was a shooting at that party. And somebody got killed at that party. And that person who got killed at that party was sitting right next to your friends in the seat that you were supposed to be sitting in. Had you gone with your friends? You didn't get to go to the party. But had you gone to the party,
your party would
there would have been no more party for you.
No more party for you.
There used to be a song by a little puppet. It was a cute ass little puppet called Topo Gigio. And I had to look it up the other day, and I was listening to it. And it was such a little cheerful song. And then I heard a line I don't remember hearing before. And it had a line saying, if God is willing, if it is God's will. And it was this little children's song from this little cute ass puppet. If it was God's will for you not to go to that party, accept that. Because thanks to God's will not allowing you to go to that party, you are alive. It was not God's will for you to be with that woman. It was not God's will for you to have a treacherous person next to you.
No.
Even though it's something I predicted, I just act surprised. That way the armor never chinks on me.
If you had allowed her to stay next to you, that person who never helped you sow the wheat, harvest the wheat, grind that wheat into flour, and bake that delicious, scrumptious chocolate cake. The one with that thick icing, that cake that is so moist that you can just pick it up with the tines of your fork, that you can just press the tines of the fork into the cake, and the cake just molds itself to the tines of the fork because it's so moist. I'm sorry, I'm salivating there. That cake that's so good that when you take it in your mouth, you get punched by that sweetness, and then that bitterness from the chocolate gives you a left hook right there in the kisser. And as after you swallow, you have that slight bitterness of that good chocolate in that cake, and you wash it down with that milk. You gonna have that trifling person in your life eating your chocolate cake, drinking your milk, enjoying the fruits of your labor, and you upset because they ain't there taking what you worked hard for? It was not God's will for you to be with them. That is why God removed them from your life. Oh, I'm upset because that guy next door took my wife. It was God's will that you not be with this person because they trifling. Now that they're gone, guess what? It's rinse and repeat with that cake, baby. It's more cake for you. It's cake that you will have when you find somebody who is worthy to enjoy and partake of this delicious, scrumptious chocolate cake with you. And understand, I ain't talking about no John Brown cake. But I am talking about John Brown cake. Delicious, scrumptious cake that demands a tall glass of cold milk. not that it wants to be consumed with a tall glass of cold milk. It demands it, because that's how good it is.
I gotta go.
And you were going to share it with an ungrateful person, with a person who was unworthy of the greatness of this chocolate cake.
It's the best podcast on YouTube.
And that's all I gotta
You
say.
gonna
Rinse
get
and
in
repeat,
trouble.
brothers.
You
Rinse
gonna
and
watch,
repeat.
rinse and repeat. Watch, rinse and repeat. Hey, you guys, I don't got much to say because I gotta go. I gotta shut it down. Thank you, Son Claude. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for Watch a Taco Tuesday, and make sure you wash your taco because nobody wants to watch a dirty taco. Y'all have a good night, man. Rewind all the way to the beginning. Do your homework on Stoicism 101 and look into how controlling your thoughts can change your mind. Do the math on how emotions and feelings become a mood. This is Mood Music 4 by Joe Budden. How emotions and feelings become a mood. That elongated mood becomes a temperament. That temperament can become a personality trait. Those personality traits are what Nameless talks about, epigenetics, or how certain mannerisms get passed down through personality traits. What we talked about here today is a hack. A hack. We creating our own personality traits. Because if I have a personality trait, maybe I garnered that personality trait from my father. Maybe I have certain personality traits from my mother. You may garner certain personality traits from relationships with friends. What about you developing your own system of values and creating your own personality traits? That is the hack that I'm teaching you today, son. That is the hack that I'm teaching you today, daughter. That is the hack that I'm teaching you today, brother, sister, wife. You have certain personality traits from your mother. It's not something that is in your control, but rather than focus on those issues and traits that you may have got from your mother, how about focusing on solutions? The solution is that we can create our own personality traits and that get passed down to our children. That's the mathematics of today. That's how you become a guy. That's the superhero. I love you guys.
Living up to a title you shouldn't have gave 'em. Headshot, point blank.